is well behind that. Like, I think this is the best veto you could possibly ask for this.
Yeah, and I mean, these are the two maps that they actually faced off against each other in the regular season of Season 47, and Ancient went Nouns' way, Wildcard took Vertigo, and it went their way. So, interesting to see how they end up on the exact same maps here in the playoffs. We'll see if it pans out the same way, or if maybe if one team can get the number of the other on their respective pick. Alrighty, here we go. Nouns starting T side, Wildcard CT side. As we jump into a pistol round with Nouns probably ready to rock.
Oh, it seems like they are. And the strat they've called, they've got confidence in. 3 lean toward cave. And with only 1 to respond, I kind of fancy their odds. Lying in wait is Grizz, a man we talked up a lot in the pre-show. Quick spot, but quick kill. Good opener. A statement made to start off the pistol, and a molly might force him back, but it's not going to get you that player.
George gonna swing out here, and he gets the shot onto Grizz. Continues to spam on through, so that's a good trade back. Nouns want to swarm in towards this B site. Stanislaw takes a bit of damage as well. And it looks like Nouns, I mean, the bomb is committed into cave here. George carrying on his back, and I don't know. If they want to readjust, he better get the heck out of here or ferry the bomb out of this position. Otherwise, it has to go towards B because he could easily be isolated. Carson, waiting beyond double doors. A fight looming there. And Sonic is just lurking around cave, eventually backing off into the corner here right outside of it.
And they're ready to still pounce, man. For a moment, it didn't look like they were going to motion out. But instead, confidence found in holding to your guns. They have another volley, actually. I'm not sure where that went sandwich. Actually, the dualies don't get anything done either. Stanislaw is only good for the 1. And the site's cracked wide open. Slight and Co have got a lot of work to do on this retake attempt, but that makes it a little bit easier. Damage on CJ as the bomb goes down. And for a moment, I thought they were going to try motioning a save, but no, they've got some utility up their sleeves still to use. This round is by far not over. A smoke in cave. And Junior's going to maybe have to find another angle. Slight gap as he's blocked it as it came through the window. Flash never actually used. And thanks to it, Junior's got himself another. A 1v3 for Slight. And it looks like this one is checked out. And Nouns may have the recovery.
I mean, that's planned all along by Junior. I love it. In cave, realizes, okay, that smoke's going to drop down from above. He gets that frag on the first engagement, then the follow-up, as you just saw right there onto Slightest. They wouldn't want to nothing. But yeah, oh, they're going to go down to the bomb. Doesn't matter at all. It's just pistol round. But, I mean, I love that heads-up play and realizing they can body block the smoke, and he leaves a bit more of a gap around the edge of it as a result. You see there is the way the smoke usually blooms, and you can't really see around that edge, but because he body blocks it, you get more visibility towards long B, and that's where that's what leads to his frag afterwards. Really well played by him and the rest of Nouns as they get off to that early lead they were hoping for. Wildcard will not be forcing up here. It's 5-man save, all USPs. The only thing they invest into is the flashbang in Stanislaw's hands, and they're just going to try and flood out of Jaguar right now. Maybe they'll catch Carson looking the wrong way. Carson, no, he's aware of this. He's going to spam through. Junior actually goes down, but it won't mean much. Rush gets a couple, and Stanislaw, last one.
Not a total surprise. Was the right idea, but then again, when you've got USPs supporting your cause, probably not that strong of an endeavor, huh? Smoke's gonna fade. Stanislaw's gonna walk out. Round will soon conclude, and we'll get to the nitty-gritty of this best of 3, or maybe there'll be a little more prolonging of that. Stanislaw took a sweet time. And there is a gun down in B ramp, I believe. I don't ever think they played Janitor for that. So play your cards right. Maybe you walk out with a Galil. Just gotta take that little plea deal before it expires, and Carson changes his mind, but it seems like that ship has sailed. And he turns back around. He's ready to hand them the round on a silver platter. Nothing too surprising. 2-0, way of the world, Wildcard. What do you got?
Well, we'll see what they've got here as they're going to be buying up into this next round. They tried there, right? You saw Grizz get that one frag, but it just doesn't materialize into anything. And, of course, that last gun will not be retrieved off the ground by Wildcard. So they buy up here 4 A4s and the A1S. This is really curious to me because I've seen some teams just fully continue into the A1S and not a single A4 up, but Wildcard have 4 A4s and only 1 A1S. So it's interesting to see the different mindsets that are coming through after that price cut to the A4. Anyway, now it's just going to charge into a vacant A site and take this completely also get a plant for free. Sonic's on the outside looking in from Donut, and JBA actually gets one on Carson before the bomb is planted. Finally it goes down. That could help their retake. They have no kits though.
Well, yeah. They do have to get a move on, and look at the motioning they're doing all the way around the map. Stanislaus coming through a ton, so the only impact he's going to have in this round is if it's maybe catching one on the flank. Beyond that, it's honestly as cut and dry as a 3-on-3 until Stanislaus gets activated. This smoke is soon to fade, but that's the one man he was likely to catch. It's planted for Donut. Somebody's got to get on this, and you've got to start protecting now. Nade goes on the cross. They start ladding up these kills, but maybe not enough. CJ to King, plenty of time and plenty of room. Nouns, early on, they show who's boss, and they keep the streak rolling.
CJ the King, the three-piece. He's had a couple of, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say like horrible performances in the previous matches here in the playoffs, but he hasn't been that star-studded player that we saw at the beginning of the season, and I think at the beginning of when CS2 was actually released. So he's fallen off a little bit in terms of stats, but he's still sitting number 2 on the team with a 1.10 KDR and 29 3-kill plus rounds, 6 of those 4Ks. But right there, he adds a 30th over that last month. And of course, at a perfect time. I mean, Nouns needed that to find success and really drive the stake into Wildcard's heart in terms of this early start that they're pulling off. Now the Pistols will be coming out for Wildcard. Stanislaw and Grizz get a couple. Oh no, that is very bad for Nouns, and Grizz actually gets the follow-up with the AK picked up off the ground. Only George and Carson left. This was just a pistol round for Wildcard. It was supposed to be a non-starter.
That's the bomb, too. Like, this round is in the palm of their hands. Guns litter the hands of Slight and Grizz. And while there is utility, it's going to be all used on trying to get back what was already theirs from the get-go. Good smoke, though. If they really want to try, they can walk in that smoke, not even have to have vision to get the bomb. Almost entirely eliminate Grizz's need to be around, or his threat, rather. But they've still not taken the plunge, and that extra molly might get rid of that extra facet. JBA's still got a deagle, too, trying to play off of Grizz. This is where that chemistry might come into play. Picking up the angle of his fallen comrade, Grizz might do everything himself. A triple thus far, and maybe a fourth required as Carson peeks around the corner and almost drops JBA. But that's why they're the duo to watch, and why the player watched behind him. Wildcard, it might not be rifles, and it might not be pretty, but it's still a round they'd love to build off of.
That's a coup for Wildcard. Oh my goodness. They just had the pistols coming out there and immediately get 2 frags on the aggression towards those B double doors. Nouns don't really have a response. They finally pause out a little bit and wait for Wildcard to come to them, but at the same time, it just doesn't work for them once they try to take that fight and recover the bomb. The smoke was good. I thought they were just going to try and sneak the bomb away after smoking it off, but instead wait too long, and I mean, we're just trying to find frags instead. Timeout going to be called for them to talk things over.
Honestly, you can't entirely blame them. Right, that's not a round they should really be losing, and you said it yourself, it felt like that was something they should just use to coast, quick 4-0 start, nothing really more to it, but it's broken them. I mean, the last round came to a 1v3 from CJ, like, they don't have a lot of money to spend, and you see that here, reflected. Galils, Tech 9s, a P250, and likely something off spawn because of it, maybe another A-pop. It worked rather well before in actually getting into the site, but this time they shift, look for mid, the mollies prohibit, and they're going to have to play this one a little more down to earth.
Yesterday against the Party Astronauts, my player to watch was Carson on this map, and of course Nouns did end up winning on Ancient, but Carson was the slower start to that matchup. He didn't really do that much. It was Rush along with George who ended up being the star players, and again, Carson is going to be the first one to fall here. It's a force buy coming through from Nouns. They're trying to stick the plant. They will get that plant down as they move into this A site. Slight watching with the AWP, fires off a shot. It doesn't connect with anything, but they triple peek from CT. That is not good news for Nouns, who are just trying to hang on here with the text. Need some headshots. There's one from Junior, looking for the follow-up. Won't get it. George is in such a bad spot. He's going to get peeked on, and there it is. Sonic, beautiful 3K to secure the round and get a second for Wildcard. But yeah, what I wanted to say was Carson is typically that player towards mid on both Mirage and Ancient that really can gain a lot of control for his team, and it wasn't happening yesterday on Ancient. It was just Rush who ended up being the one to carry the mantle until George popped off, I think, towards the latter part of that map. So maybe we'll get the same story here, with Rush along with George being the ones to really help out in terms of fragging duties, but I think Carson is an important one to keep an eye on because he can easily tilt this back in favor of Nouns.
Oh, such a volatile player.
Yes.
It's like the swing round of players. Any single time he turns up, it feels like the round is theirs guaranteed. But one person I feel like didn't get enough credit was Sonic. This guy, as of like really recent, has been popping off. I mean, I'm talking consistent 20, 25, 30 bomb games where he is just topping the charts by a long margin. And it's just gone to increase the firepower of Wildcard. Because you come into this game, the first question you ask is, how are Wildcard gonna put a dagger in the middle of Nouns' individual presence? And you got JBA, who's been playing really well. You've got Grizz, who's been playing really well. But beyond that, it was riddled with inconsistency. Slight, it was a toss-up whether you were going to see him get activated or not in the game. Stanislaus never really been that guy to pop off. And Sonic, same story with inconsistency. So having him now is a more, regular contributor makes this so much more justifiable for Wildcard.
Slight going to get the opener here with the AWP onto George. Uh-oh, Stanislaw, he spotted out some bodies, and he's got the information. Grizz on the other side will also contribute here, and this is going to be nada for Nouns. Oh, okay. Shot for Rush, at least going to connect onto Grizz. Maybe he can build some momentum up for himself here with a couple of nice Deagle frags. Stan, tucked into cave. Rush trying to slow peek him. Stan should have the edge here. He absolutely does, and Sonic's actually going to get it from the front anyway. Tied up at 3. Here comes the buy-up again for Nouns, and we'll see if they can find their rhythm on their T side.
Mid's going to be a problem moving forward. They've already instated that from Wildcard's perspective. They've thrown mollies, they've thrown smokes, they've thrown nades. If you want to take early space, you're going to have to do it elsewhere. They've put so much emphasis on securing that spot of the map. And at this point, I don't even know if it's worth it to try and contend in a round like this. Again, you talk about swing rounds. This is one of them. Once more, it's utility. A lot of it. I thought presence would be felt in Sonic and JBA's push, but they actually back off.
Yeah, they threw a couple of Molotovs that created a line of mollies. There was very little, a couple of incendiaries next to a Molotov, so there wasn't really much space for them to gain there. They're going to pop the smoke, and it works out well. Sonic gets one, JBA another, and they are really taking control of mid in a more unorthodox way. Usually you want to charge up, but instead they just pop the smoke, get visibility, and surprise Nouns. Wow. Junior and Rush, last two standing on the Nouns side. They're probably wondering, what the heck just happened?
I don't even think they're going to figure that out in time. Grizz and Co have got a very strong setup in cave too, so it's not like this is some simple reroute for you to maybe wiggle your way into a bomb plant. You've got a lot of work to do to even get that far, and remember, this game has been absent of them in the rounds Wildcard are winning. So money isn't very flourishing right now for the side of Nouns, and it's going to stay that way. Not a kill to speak of, not a drop in the bucket for them. So it's back to pistols. This lead continues to get impressive by the minute. And what was originally a worry of Wildcard in the previous days, the previous couple of months dropping this map, I mean, it's looking like that's in the past. They are one hell of a competitive team right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's still a slight lead, but if you look at the previous matchup they played against Lag, they only won by 2 rounds. It went the distance, all 24. 13-11 was that final score, but JBA was the player that popped off with 22 frags, 107.2 ADR. So there's definitely something that Wildcard could be cooking here on Ancient. I love the way they played mid in that previous round. As I mentioned, usually you want to push up and get aggressive. Instead, they stay back and use the element of surprise with the smoke pop to gain the advantage. Nouns going to move up here. They're always scary with these pistols. You never know what can happen. And 4 Tech 9s with a little bit of mobility. will help them push up here and get into the faces of Wildcard. Sonic's waiting on the other side. Great flashbang thrown to flush him up, but Grizz is there to support from the B site. And then he gets a second onto CJ. Nothing doing for Nouns again on their pistol buy-up unless Junior and Rush make something happen here towards the A site. This one's done, and Wildcard will extend their lead to 2, and nothing does happen. JBA, another 2K, and he's up to 7 frags.
Back-to-back clean rounds from Wildcard. Look at the cash. It's spilling out of their pockets. They're so rich right now on Wildcard. Nouns have really got to start doing something and doing it quick. Because whether you want to talk about being competitive in rounds, whether you want to talk this or that, the first step is just making sure you can get an edge on them. I mean, it's so atypical to see CTs have the ability to constantly lose and then buy back if need be. But that's allocated to Wildcard. There's no pressure on that. And they've stuck with what's basic to them. A couple of mid-mollies, threatening that mid-smoke, saying we will make this open if we sense it has potential. And even around the board, you're seeing Slight get a little more fluid-like. He's gone to A this round. He's been everywhere. That's one thing Wildcard have going for them. The lack of rigidity in where their upper plays. It makes it such a question mark. And look at what they're doing. Walking all the way into A tons. CJ has to respect this. Off limits right now is the A site.
Yeah, and I think what's great about what Wildcard did with popping that smoke. Oh, speaking of popping things, Sonic gets George's head with that AK bullet. 5v4 in favor of Wildcard. What I was going to say was Nouns always have to be wary now. Like, are they going to pop the smoke? Can we take mid comfortably here? We don't see anyone, and that's when Nouns get a little uncomfortable, is when they don't have visibility and don't have those fights that they can see right in front of them, which is what they thrive off of. 52 seconds left on the clock. Nouns sending 2 players into cave. A couple of others appear to be going towards the ramp, and it will be a B hit. Unfortunately for them, Wildcard have the read, so they're going to have to win some fights. And Grizz, oh Grizz, you're getting a little antsy. I don't know if this is going to pan out for him. He's got Stanislav by his side, so the trade potential is certainly there. Smoke's going to fade. CJ's charging right into it.
They're not clearing.
I think he suspects. Yeah, he suspects they're here. And Junior's going to get one. CJ's got his gun out finally, and he will find Grizz afterwards. This is problematic now for Wildcard, as Sonic gets his clock cleaned. JBA and Slight, the last 2 standing.
Got a nade. You want to open it up early. But you're going to have to start putting pen to paper real quick, because you're running out of manpower and running out fast. JBA and Slight still inching back in. But how much longer does this op have? A flash as both of them refuse to swing into each other. Junior eventually breaks the ice and breaks the neck of Slight. Overkill on the headshot, but required for the round.
Wow. Everything was trending towards Wildcard. They had the opening frag. It was looking great. And then Nouns just explode onto B and find instant impact. And they find their 4th round as well as a result. As we head into round number 10, Nouns want to tie this one up. But Wildcard, you talked about in the previous round, they built up an insane amount of economy for themselves. Tons of cash available to them. Even if they lose here, they still will have enough money for a full-on buy. So Nouns going to be tested significantly. And surprisingly, Nouns not really going for much mid-control throughout the majority of this half. They really were pushed back significantly after that decisive control that Wildcard gained off of that smoke pop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've been just investing so much into it. It makes sense. But Sonic has been a thorn in their side for quite some time. Well, I thought it was him that got dinked, but instead, he's handing them out. Blow for blow, he goes headshot for headshot with George. That's why the AK is superior. It's just damage on him. Kill the other way. Wildcard got a lot to answer for when they lose mid-control. These 2 islands are separated like these 2 sites are separated like islands. And George is going to keep this split.
Nouns taking their time, slowing things down. B site is pretty much vacant at the moment. Slight is nearby with the op, and eventually I think he's going to post himself up towards long B. But Nouns are going in. They're making no secret of this either. The util's flying in. Smoke is going to guys off Slight's visibility here. He'll probably try for a shot, you would imagine. Yeah, he does, but it's too late. The timing is off. Wildcard on the outside looking in. George getting an important one onto Grizz, making it a 5v3, which may cause Wildcard to just pull the plug completely. They have util. They'll have a look very briefly here, but if they don't find a frag quickly, they'll probably back off.
Right call, honestly. And so far, we've seen a lot of liberty gained from Nouns at the B side specifically. I wonder if that's something to be adjusted in the future, at least from Wildcard's defensive perspective. And it doesn't even feel like it's been a utility thing, right? They've just been caught out a couple of times. And the more and more it happens, the more and more you're likely to see Wildcard make an adjustment. And that's where Nouns are really going to thrive, right? If they can start opening up that avenue back toward mid again,
yeah,
then they're going to blow this T side wide open. There's only 2 more rounds, sure, but I feel like Nouns hold all of the cards right now.
Perhaps so. I mean, Wildcard has a buy-up regardless for the remainder of this half, so that's going to help them certainly. But I definitely feel like Nouns are the ones that have gained the momentum. I agree with that. And I think one reason why Ancient is such a good map for Nouns is that it plays kind of similarly to Mirage, where you need to get that mid control on your T side and even CT side to contest for the round, and it works out in a similar fashion where Nouns can kind of employ the same players. I was mentioning Carson before, and even Junior with the AWP can go out there and find quick picks. So we'll see what they decide to do here. Timeout going to be called by Wildcard. Talk things over.
Had a pretty hefty lead. And so far they've been speechless in the past 2 for answers. Keeping at this cutthroat gameplay, I completely get it. And while they will have a buy in the next round, it might be missing a couple of things. Grizz is going to need a buy from somebody, so you're either sacrificing an op or sacrificing utility, likely. And that's not a future they really want to have to look into, so I'd rather just put pen to paper here. And again, I'm not surprised. Nouns go for a B lean at the start of this round. It's changed. The start of this game had them favoring maybe 2-3 toward mid, a lurk outside A, 1 around B ramp area. You could see the shift in ideals for Nouns, especially after these massive advantages they've gotten here.
Oh,
huge pick, man.
What a shot. And Slight's going back for more, and he connects on the second as well. Won't even get traded. Sonic's there to support. CJ's going to have to do work, and he does. He gets 2, but Sonic silences him as well. That will make things a lot less interesting here because Nouns only have 1 left here instead of what would have been a 2v2 if CJ converts the triple. Sonic, Stan, and Grizz leaning more towards that B site than A. A is a little vulnerable, so if Sonic, for example, gets caught up by Rush here, and Rush is able to rotate to A, it'll be problematic. But he's not going to do that. He's going to go to B, and he's going to die. 6-5 for Wildcard. Decisive round victory coming through there.
And back to winning ways, there they go. However, the CT side has been a constant struggle for Wildcard in the past. You mentioned earlier the lag result. It's looking eerily similar as we currently stand. And while I'll admit Nouns on paper are a far better team than Lag, I don't think it entirely discredits the issues Wildcard have had in the past. Sometimes that linear play can come back to haunt them, and that is what we saw Nouns punish a couple of times. Putting so much emphasis on mid distracts you, you can't possibly help that much on. You can't help those sites when they get hit.
Grizz looking for some information here, popping up above the smoke. Molotov sails in on default. Rush, not sure if that was intentional or not, but the smoke will hit him. Grizz, watching the edge of it. Don't see anything. We'll see one. Finally, as it fades, he gets that frag. Rush finds one back, and CJ connects onto Grizz. There's that B site taken. JBA is trying to toss an incendiary to make life difficult, but that radius of the incendiary isn't as good anymore. Wow, that is impressive from Stan. Going from jungle, getting another. Slight finds CJ. They're pulling themselves back into this one purely on the frags. Now, on the other side, George has walked onto A. He's found all the space. It is vacant, so he's called for Junior to rotate over, but it's going to take a long time, so he has to defend the site. He gets that frag, 2v2. This is very, very hectic.
But what doesn't matter as much at the 2v2 is the info. Wildcard know it's going A, so they've already started organizing themselves in a way to attempt this retake. Issue is, they're split up. could not be further apart from one another, and Junior is hard reading this, knows a flank is in play, knows somebody slithering back through, but Stanislaw, more on point it seems. They say 4's been lethal the past couple of days, and so has JBA. Around Wildcard, we're looking shaky in, have a great bounce back. Let's put it all the way here. A 7-5 half, and a great showing in a matchup they've struggled with in the past.
Yeah, that's really nicely done from Wildcard, honestly, and we're going to see highlights of all of the rounds that you guys just witnessed here, but honestly, in that last one, I was impressed with the way that it was played out by Wildcard. Even though it felt like they might not have had the advantage at certain points, they really did a great job of rebuffing Nouns out of that B site. And I mean, George found all the space towards A, but the flank was on. You are absolutely right. As we are going to head to a quick break. Welcome back. Second half, Wildcard versus Nouns, and Wildcard are up on Nouns' map pick, but Nouns are switching over to the favored CT side. So let's see if they can employ that very typical style that they like to go for, which is aggression into mid and taking those fights immediately. Obviously not on pistol round, that's a different story. And on pistol, they're going to stack up this site. Wildcard are the ones who are just going to run on through. I think this is heard, though. So much noise being made. But they're going to go to A and get a plant.
I was going to say, this is such an insane call from Wildcard. And they're going to hear the rotations back. Ace in the hole in Stanislaw, and while he doesn't get a kill, he's got all this info, worth its weight in gold. Now, time to exploit off of it. Sonic tucked into Donut, P250 in hand. They all come barreling in, bombarding him and overwhelming. That P250 is rendered useless. A 2-on-5. Now that's something a little unfathomable even for JBA's standards. Maybe make that 1v5 as the smoke looms up. Little more opportunity now as he's got potential sight lines to just pop bullets inside of it, but too many players, too much time, too much help for Nouns. Secures that pistol and makes this just a hair closer.
I love that call from Nouns on the pistol round, right? Because on the B, towards that B site is where the T's can get to very, very quickly. So you just go for the full-on stack. If it doesn't work out, they had the defuse kit so they can just rotate around and not have to rush themselves too much as they try to retake that A site, and the retake was just perfect on their side. They only left one player standing towards CT. They just threw bodies at him at that point and stuck the defusal, which is the best strategy you can have on the pistol round, because if you can't get to that bomb diffuser, you are not going to be able to stop them from coming out with victory. So love what Nouns pulled off there, and now Wildcard's lead is cut to only 1. They do get the bomb plant though, so that means a buy-up's going to come in, even though it's not going to be a great one. It will feature 2 Galils and 3 Tech 9s with 2 full belts of util.
Look, if you're Wildcard, you're not going to get anywhere in this one by backing down. You got to show what you're made of, especially against a team like Nouns. But they're playing patient, and they're ready for something to happen. Like, Wildcard, anywhere you go, there's going to be good protocols in place to stop you. Now, the one thing I am a little worried about is utility, specifically toward A. You've got a molly, right? But CJ isn't going to get that in time. It's likely for the site, but another issue is there's nobody in CT. If they want to circumvent that by planting behind the site box, they currently can, because Nouns can't stop them.
CJ waiting in Donut. Do they have a smoke for this? They do. Assuming they choose to use it here. That smoke is still up. They haven't used it for Donut, so CJ has full visibility here. They're going to try and close him off with the guns instead. And now that smoke goes out for CT. So Donut is a good spot to be at right now for CJ. It's just the MP9 from mid to long range isn't as effective. He's going to spam on through. Junior joining him. It might just become a 5-man save for Nouns. I don't think it's going to, though, because they like to go out here. And there's Carson deleted by JBA, who finds a follow-up, but George manages to get 2 back. Finally gets flanked out by Stanislaw. CJ's going to push out, but Grizz is right above them. He slipped through the smoke on it on the flank and took care of business. 8-6 for Wildcard.
It's not even the Galils that are the shining stars of that round. It's 2 Tech 9s. Grizz never cleared in that corner. They were so certain. You saw so many times that round, CJ spam that smoke, that exact spot. And it gave Grizz the confidence to, as that smoke started to fade, tuck himself in. Why would you clear it again? You already spammed it. And it works to perfection. They were on the same timing for the take, so Grizz knew exactly how to counter it. And sitting about that smoke high and mighty, I think he won them that round. Now Nouns, they've got a lot of problems to address.
That was really well played from Grizz, no questions. And he gets an upgrade to an A1S as well. A lot of issues on the Nouns side economy-wise, and they say, you know what, guys? Let's force it up and see if we can do to them what they did to us, but it'll be a lot less potent. 4.57s, make it 5.7s across the board, not a deagle to be seen. And you know what? I like it. The 5.7 is a pretty crazy pistol. Up close, it's an instant headshot. I mean, you really can't go wrong. And you have 20 rounds to work with. So, let's see what they end up doing. Nouns, as I mentioned, love going for this aggressive mid-control. And who else but Carson is going to be the tip of the spear here. He has been quite quiet up to this point. Only 4 frags. So now is when Nouns want to have some impact from Stanislaw. Is going to spam through with the MP9. Yeah, just a little bit of a lucky spam as Rush goes down to 2 HP. And Stan's going to push out here. Carson would have no idea that Stan is coming out here. But he is going to manage to make his way into lane.
So many angles to worry about there. I like that from Stanislaw to back away. But it comes at a cost. I mean, they get to manifest full control over mid, swarm it, and you could see the damage coming through as an effect. Sonic Grizz, both weaker than the ideal standpoint, and Sonic is still taking fights. Look, I love the confidence. But this is not a round you want to be tossing aside, so it seems they'll all calm down a little bit. Turn it back to a Cold War-esque round. And await the final destination of Wildcard, which seems to be A. Maybe a mid to A crunch, something along those lines. Yeah. But they're also rerouting, so I got no idea anymore.
35 seconds left. They're going to have to decide soon. Stanislaw taking a little bit of damage. Sonic almost down to dirt. Still no frags to speak of with only 30 seconds left from either side. But there it is. Carson strikes true for the headshot onto Stan. Grizz going to try and creep up here, but he can't. The incendiary blocks him off. 19 seconds left now for them to get onto this B site. There's still util available for Nouns. A smoke is left now after that flash is tossed. 12 seconds now. George and Carson with the 5-7s are going to take care of all of it. 4 frags combined for them, 2 apiece, and Nouns win the force by right on back.
Nouns are not a team to be giving that much respect to. They will make you eat your words. So much space given. It starts with mid, it ends with B. As that timer dwindles thinner and thinner, you see that little piece of utility they have left. It's one smoke, it's one molly, and at that point, you don't even see George throw it off of some read, some info, some hearing that he has. He just throws it off at the time. There's 20 seconds, you said it yourself. Wildcard took so long to get activated and get in that Nouns just won it off of not even seeing anybody.
Both teams wrestling for control of the beginnings of this half and the momentum. The Forest by Wars are still very much on. Wildcard, similar buy-up as they had in the second round of this half. 2 Galils, 2 Tech 9s, and the Deagle. Rush, waiting here in Cave. This time Wildcard are going to go a lot faster. 2 players popping out. They try to distract with the hop across and then the slow peek from Stanislaw. It doesn't work. Rush just dodges everything, throws the smoke, and pushes them back to reset once more. Lots of time left on the clock for Wildcard to work with. But they have to get a move on soon, and they will attempt mid control now.
Master of defending and maybe master of attacking. This was an integral part to that first half for Wildcard. So I'm not surprised they put just as much emphasis on it from the offensive perspective. And into Donut they go. Not a lot of help on this A site currently. CJ, good opener. That flash ensures a trade, and now as they start scaling into A, there's not much stopping them. Maybe an HE, maybe a Molly, but they pretty much got full control of the site. They've overwhelmed it. Bomb plants there is unless no. Carson walks through, and the spray's almost good for a double. But instead, again, another one and done in situations like this. It's not going to work. George, he and Rush are so far removed that I don't know how much they can really help each other out. They know there's another in Donut stand. If he wins this duel, though, it might just put it out of arm's reach. JBA does just that from Cave. This might be done. Rush, he's got a kit. He doesn't have a lot of time beyond that. Maybe tend to get back in and make a miracle happen, but with no utility. Seems a little far-fetched. A quick tap of the bomb, and JBA's not buying it. Eventually peeks in and decimates Rush.
Wow. That is some discipline from JBA. Won't be able to save anything out of that round, so everyone dies again. But, wow. That was so patiently played by Wildcard, JBA in particular. And then he pops around the corner and hits a wicked Deagle shot. I mean, whoa. Wildcard are going to strike back on their force buy, and it's not going to stop, folks. Nouns have 3 MP9s, 2 5-7s, continuing to invest down to pretty much 0, as they're going to go for some aggression again towards mid. They're slowing up a little bit to allow their incendiary to burn away, but CJ is the only one actually left there, and there's been a strong deviation from Nouns towards the B site, which they appear to have a read on, and I think they're right. I mean, look, Wildcard have 3 players postured here. George eats the nade, and this is where they won it last time in their force buy.
Again, dude, it just feels like it's so back and forth with the things they're good at controlling. Like, Nouns have consistently been good at B. Wildcard consistently good at mid. And we just keep seeing them butt heads over and over. 2 stubborn teams who refuse to say die while they go back into a 4-man A establishment. And so far, so good. JBA and Grizz, both massive contributors. But in the end, everybody really starts getting their hands in. CJ's on the other site. Not even going to bother. Keep the MP9. You got a full save on the horizon, so it can't hurt you. This is a good result so far. Double digits.
Nouns not looking that great anymore on their map pick. CJ gets that frag, but he is limping along with 1 HP. Slight, gonna swing him, end him, that's it. Wildcard win the Force by Wars, and they are the first to hit double digits as well. 10-7 in their favor. 3 more rounds, and they will have stolen away Nouns' map pick from right under their feet.
And we didn't even really discuss that possibility. I mean, we talked about Wildcard having a good Ancient, but I think we both kind of had the expectation of seeing what we'd seen before.
Yeah.
Maps taken by each respective active picker, and then we go to a decider of Nuke in which the gloves come off, but at this rate, you don't know if it's going to be deciding anymore. Because Wildcard are fighting back here. They got a lot of grit behind him. And Grizz.
Wildcard, you know, having played a BO3 right before this, I was wondering if it might affect them a little bit. And of course, it went into double overtime against the Party Astronauts on their second map. So maybe there was some fatigue there. No, it doesn't seem like it at all. In fact, it only seems like it powered them up, gearing them up and getting them ready for their chance at finding that ESL Pro League spot. They've taken the B site. It is free and clear. This is a full-on eco for Nouns, by the way, guys. So it is pretty much a non-starter. Yeah. Wildcard should cruise to an 11th unless things go horribly wrong, and maybe a little bit of a labored spray there, I would say. But he's under control now, and he should be good to go. Oh my goodness, even taps with his second to last bullet at the head of George. He's going to try for the ace, but Grizz says, you know what? No, you're not getting an ace. I want to pad my stats too, and that'll do.
As one famous Cole Exner McHenry would say, he's got to get them eeks.
Yeah.
So he does. But now you got to get them rifles, because one more, and you could start to be swooning this Ancient into your back pocket. You're not far off it at this point if you're Wildcard. A lot of this map been sublime. I'm sure they'd like to keep that going, but there's one small catch. The M4s that Nouns bring out now. George still hesitant to buy, but I'd imagine he'll soon follow suit. But there is one thing very obviously lacking from this buy, and that's kits. Nouns lose the opening duel or two, they're probably just going to call this a save.
Yeah, I'm surprised someone doesn't buy a kit here. I mean, sell a nade, sell something, and get that kit up and running here. I know it would cost a little bit of util, and I guess that's more important to them at this point. They figure they can stop the bomb from being planted in the first place. So, I don't know. We'll see if that comes back to bite them a little bit. 4-round deficit that they're trying to climb back from, and Wildcard are taking aggressive control of A main as it stands, or maybe they're just trying to fake it out and force some rotations or some pushes from Nouns to trap them. Stanislaw, pop flash thrown. George, not really blinded by it. And Stan will fall back after spotting out that player.
And they're keeping it calm. Even through all the commotion, the gunfire raining down in middle. You saw Carson trying to put pressure on. But this massive duel, one wrong move. He did. Oh, man. Half an inch away, it seems. Thanking his lucky stars Junior wasn't taken down there. That could have been huge. You see them getting ready off of anything given to them. They are ready to pounce into that A site.
Very surprising to see Nouns playing so passively here on an Ancient where they have benefited from that mid-aggression in the past. Grizz waiting. Sonic will go down. CJ going to get two. Junior the third. There we go. CJ has been really integral in pulling rounds back for Nouns with individual efforts that featured a 3K in the first half and now a 2K here. Stanislaw is going to come back with two of his own, though. Finally, he is shut down by Rush. Got exciting for a second, but there's just still too many bodies left standing for Nouns. And now with Slate at 20 HP and 20 seconds left on the clock, he needs to fall back and save the AWP because the bomb isn't even on his back.
I don't think they're really in a spot to hunt. I'm surprised to see Carson getting this hungry for it. But I think eventually he'll snap into himself and back away. But man, this round, all I can think is what if? What if Slight hits that shot on the player in Temple? What if you don't get away? Because everything's got its effect. You go back in time, you kill a butterfly, all of a sudden, bagels don't exist. Like, that's what this round feels like. Because the person who is in Temple, who Slight narrowly missed, goes on to not only get a kill, but help CJ in Donut on his re-aggression. Junior falls, they don't go back into Donut. They end up scaling A. It's a 1v3, and they're likely getting that point.
What could have been. Wildcard still a chance, though. They got AKs up, 3 of them, and the AWP. Sonic settling for a deagle. Probably won't be too much of a limitation. Wildcard need that opening frag. Rush sensing presence. He falls back a little bit, giving them jungle, in fact, and cave. Hoping that they overlook this spot. Grizz is absolutely going to do that, but Stanislaw finds Rush. He tries to retake that spot. Carson around the corner will manage to get the trade. He needs to be careful how he plays this because he could get pincer from both sides. But Carson pops around again and finds the second. This is what Carson does best. And what I was talking about before, that mid-control, CJ 2 more. JBA and Sonic are down. Stanislaw, last one standing, 8 HP. The round is probably already done.
And all of a sudden, the story flips a little bit. Wildcard are still sitting with one nice little advantage. That doesn't mean we're done just yet. And give it time. Rain, sun, or shine, Carson eventually will have his impact. And what do you know? Like I said earlier, when he does, it's not just one round. It's an avalanche.
Yeah.
Times they are a-changing, it seems.
He does tend to perform better on the CT side because he loves to make that mid-push happen and take that space with the utility and then just swing around with the rifle, as you saw there. And he doesn't hesitate at all to get involved in the fight towards B at lane, and then immediately has the wherewithal to flick around if someone tries to flank him. Usually he has support with someone watching the elbow to make sure he doesn't get pushed, but he's very effective on both sides of mid, as it's going to be 9-11. Nouns getting 2 rounds closer to tying things up with Wildcard. And look at the economy for Wildcard. They're not going to buy here. It's just going to be the AK, maybe some pistol upgrades at most. Sonic's teasing us there. He went for a shotgun and he sold it immediately.
I mean,
well,
I recall one of my first games I got to see of CS2. I'm pretty sure I saw Sonic with an XM from mid-A site Mirage kill someone on Cat. So
the XM's ridiculous in CS2, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me.
I cannot believe it hasn't gotten nerfed, dude. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's typically mostly effective from close range. You do get your mid-range craziness, like you said, but it's not as consistent as it needs to be in that situation. And of course, you know, a good rifler will be able to flush them out. But I mean, definitely it's more effective than CSGO. I don't know if it needs a nerf because it hasn't necessarily been abused on the pro level yet. Will it be? I don't know. Like it's possible that one day, just like the SG552 in CSGO, they suddenly started using it and realized, oh, this is amazing, and then didn't stop, and then it had to be nerfed. Whatever. We'll get back to the action here. Who knows what the future holds for us, both in terms of the XM and this match. Wildcard are not going to force up here. Stanislaw spins down to get the utility, but Juniors finds the opener there over on Slight, who was just lurking around A main. They pop the smoke as well to see if anyone else is there. The push is going to come towards B. Rush deleted. Stanislaw finds it. George gets dinked, but he manages to get 2 before he falls, and that is more than enough. Sonic, last one standing with 12 HP.
Well, he's not long for this world, and not long for anything more. Wildcard's lead may also not be for much longer, as one more rifle slips. It's going to be a lot more than just that. Bomb plants have even come few and far between in the past couple of rounds. Those have not been given judiciously. Nouns are playing out of their minds to finish this map. Everybody included. And Junior, who's been very, very quiet this game.
I mean, I feel like Junior and Carson are both having a little bit of awakening here towards the latter part of this second half. Coming out and contributing with key frags. Carson wants to throw the nade. He's waiting for the right time. This could be a good one. Goes in. Oh, actually, it's JBA for quite a bit of damage. That'll help finish him off. Grizz manages to connect for 1, but he's trapped in a corner. Carson can't flush him out. Grizz gets 3. How? He was trapped behind the box, fights his way out, and makes it a 2v2. Nouns very much at risk here in this round to fall and lose a 12th.
Oh boy.
George is pushing into the angle too.
Oh!
Grizz gets caught out with his knife out. George will get the headshot. Stanislaw, last one, and he's going to get fought immediately by George. Wow. Saving the day for Nouns is, of course, who else but George. He's so good in these situations.
What a crazy move from Norge.
Yeah.
Like, this is an out-of-your-mind kind of play. Like, there's no reason this should work, but it does. Because why would he do that kind of thing? There's no reason for it. Stan would never expect that. And again, no plant from Wildcard. The long-lasting effect. Tech 9s, Deagles, P250s. If you want another round, it's coming in the form of an eco.
Man. I mean, Grizz is impressed. That was a ridiculous play from Grizz. Even though it's in a losing effort, you can't help but feel for him because he fought his way out of what felt like an impossible situation, makes it a 2v2, but then just can't convert afterwards because of George's play. He charges right through double doors. Grizz would never have expected, you know, you're right, not only the peak at the end from George, but just getting into double doors with only 2 players standing. Usually you just hold court in the sight. Oh my goodness. Expect the unexpected when it comes to Nouns. Carson. Already towards lane. And they don't see anything at mid. They have a lot of control of it. Wildcard leaning in more so towards A main. They did win a round like this previously in this half when we thought that Nouns would be able to get an edge. Instead of being 7-7, ended up being 8-6. Let's see if they can do it again. Smoke goes in towards CT, and then one for Donut as well. Good util comes from Wildcard. Junior has to retreat. Siege is trying to support. Siege only gets one. JBA the shot. Junior at risk of going down here. He needs to fall back and wait for reinforcements. They're playing for retake.
This is a blessing in disguise from Wildcard. And now they need to do something with it. The M4 falls though, so the round likely comes with it. JBA looking for any morsel more with the Deagle as he gets rushed down by every single member. Attention to detail is killer from Nouns, and that gets them map point after being down 11-7. They show why they picked into this map.
Yeah, Nouns have proven to be very resilient as of late, more so, honestly, than they were before they picked up Rush. And Rush, we talked to George actually yesterday and asked him, you know, is Rush a calming voice? Does he help you guys through those stressful situations? And he said, absolutely yes. He's very involved in the mid-rounding. He's always kind of like that voice of reason, keeping them composed, keeping them together. And I think it's just, it doesn't show up on the score sheet, of course, those types of things, but you can't overstate how valuable it is to have a veteran with Rush's experience on your roster when you have all these talented players that can do incredible things. And when they're down in series or even in maps, they're able to come back because of that composure. Carson gets the opener onto Stanislaw. This could all be over here.
Especially when you blow that smoke open. Grizz was spotted, or so I thought.
Oh my god.
What? Blink of an eye, everybody fell. We couldn't even see it. In mid, it was a battleground that Nouns would not give up on, and it's poetic that that's how they win. It was a struggle in that part of the map the whole game. Of course, that's what teased them over in the last.
Just devastating for Wildcard. I mean, they got completely manhandled in those last 5 rounds, and Carson was able to freewheel around mid. That played a big part in their recovery and Rush. I mean,
whether it was to Nouns' credit or Wildcard's discredit, it was 11-7, and then it was domination from that point forward from Nouns. The rounds weren't close, and I don't know how much that was on them or Nouns, but it's going to live in my mind now as we continue this series, and even as we go into a more comfortable pick.
Yeah, and they faced off, did Nouns, against an M80 squad that loves Vertigo, and ended up going almost to the double-digit mark, get 9 rounds against them, still lost the map, but they're pretty comfortable here, is what I wanted to say. Wildcard are the same, of course, and they're going to get the opening frag. JBA finding Junior. Utility sailing on forward. They only have a decoy left, so that's going to be maybe a little problematic. They're trying to go on the catwalk, and Sonic closes down on Carson. No frags yet for Nouns. Finally, one rings true. That's CJ with the headshot onto Slight with the USP, but Wildcard, they're grouped up and waiting for these CTs to come on in. Ooh, the dually wielder George gets spotted out here and won't get anything.
Rodeo, man. They're constantly running around each other everywhere you go. But this time, it's Wildcard's round for the taking. And what I found really funny about this round is, and this kind of makes sense, it almost feels like this meta is going to start favoring taking things like CT control with that new catwalk, with how you throw the smokes now. But as you saw Stanislaw go into, like, connector through CT, you saw him clear the left, where it's no longer a door, it's just a wall. But, like, you're so hard trained to look to your left and clear that angle when you go through con that he did it anyway. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. A lot of these changes are just difficult to get used to, and also another thing that's a little difficult, especially when you're on your T side, is lining up the new utility, right? To throw the smokes in that direction to guise off that garage door opening, is what I like to call it. And, well, we'll see how Wildcard employs that util. And if they have everything on point. Like you said, they have played some lesser competition on this map recently. But this will be their toughest test for sure.
Look at Sonic leading the way, paving a path through side hall, and I thought maybe he'd keep going forward. That's only against USPs. If there's any time to be brazen and bold, it's now. Get them eeks. Feel confident. Get yourself going. The blood pumping. I mean, Wildcard need a bounce back. Why not play with a little fire?
Well, Nouns are going to have the rifles now. Wildcard might need to temper this pace a little bit. George, selling for FAMAS. I think Rush might have to too. No, he's just going to go for the A1S and the head armor. In fact, he doesn't have to at all. He still has the amount of util he needs to go into this round. Wildcard, on the other hand, they're going to aggressively push in towards the ramp. Molotovs are tossed forward. 3 of them maybe even thrown in. Definitely 2. Carson. Here's the footsteps. Now he spams, connects on the head of Sonic. He knows he's somewhere nearby, trying to retreat here and regain his composure and also get some proper footing, stabilization here towards Garage. Now he looks back into side hall. Readjustment from Wildcard towards the B stairs. George blindsides Grizz with the FAMAS. What?
Oh,
what?
Shit, CJ.
What is that lineup?
That is crazy. I don't even think he was intending to hit that. I think he was intending to hit like somebody in front of the wall. But it's just a happy little accident.
You're probably right. They're just looking to try and spam a boost spot or something, but I mean, it hit him dead on. CJ has to fall back. Lucky to have his life here. Slight's going to get an aid. Well, not that bad. And he ends up getting a frag on Junior anyway. Carson thinking about peeking down Catwalk, but instead he goes towards sight, gets Sonic. CJ supporting from Garage. Carson's gone. CJ's isolated, needs to be careful. His health is still quite low. Will they be able to retake the space on a bomb not planted just yet? 32 seconds left on the clock, and now they're going to try and stick it down to dirt. Can George spot him out? No, he won't. He expects someone to be on the right. Base is forward. CJ gets 2 more with such low HP. Whoa. Can they get the last? They will. Rush drops JBA right off the top of the roof, and it will be Nouns taking this one. That is incredible contribution from CJ at such low health to get 2, and then Rush, of course, sealing the deal.
Getting activated early. Man, I don't know what it is about this new map, or this map being slightly changed, but I just love watching it. That catwalk is just so interesting, and I love seeing teams actually use it, which we've already seen Wildcard really start to digest how that part of the map is going to function moving forward. In all of their A-site takes, it's had an inclusion. You know, 3 rounds, but still.
No, that catwalk is probably the most interesting part about the changes, to me anyway, because it gives another element to the defense and the assault from the T's. Junior going to get the opener onto Grizz. That's not good for Wildcard. This is a full-on buy, and they already lost 1 to the MP9. Carson's posted up here at scaffolding. They're not clearing him very well. He's going to toss the nade forward. That won't do any damage. Slight trying to go up here with the AWP. Incendiary goes out. Carson spamming. Slight getting taken down to 69 health. CJ, who's had so much impact already both on this map and the previous one, he's hunting for some more frags, and he will find almost 2. JBA barely surviving with 7 HP. Damage is done, and this will be easy clean for George should he spot out JBA, and, well, he does. Through the smoke, in fact. A little bit of luck going a long way there. Slight peeking around. Wants to hit that shot with the op, and they are going to use that catwalk like you mentioned once more here, Anthran.
Telling you every time, it's integral for them. But Russia knows that. He's already adapted, adjusted, improvised and overcome. And Slight, he won't be overcoming very much for much longer. Wow. Stanislaw, a previous teammate of Rush's, falls to his own hands. Doesn't feel good to be on that side of the duel, does it?
Almost certainly not. Wildcard. Another thing they can't feel too great about is they got the first 2 rounds here, and Nouns have struck back immediately for a couple of their own. They don't really build on much economy either because the bomb couldn't get planted, so they're stuck onto pistols only with not much around it. Carson going towards the A site. He is joined by CJ. They've done some really good work there. On the other hand, Wildcard appear to be interested in poking and prodding on both directions of the map. Coupled towards that ramp, and that is just unlucky. That's just unlucky, Grizz. I think that was him down to bottom ramp getting spammed down to 23.
Hey, it happened to Nouns a couple of rounds ago, so it's all fair. You do it to them, they do it to you. You can't get mad. Rush sitting behind the quad pillar as we gear up for Wildcard's first attempt at a B site approach. Seems like it's not going to get very far. It is just pistols at the end of the day, but having already lost a man before you can even escalate past the stairway doesn't really bode well for the future.
Yeah, this is just a pistol round, of course, for Wildcard, and Rush spotting out a player. Smoke going to go out. Should be an easy one for Nouns to finish off. In fact, Grizz was taking that damage towards the B site earlier. Now he will be finished off. CJ gets one of his own. Yeah, not much work left for Nouns here. JBA and Slight just hiding in the smoke for now, but as soon as it fades, they're done. And in fact, JBA goes for the boost up top. Slight gets spammed down to 19, and this one is over. 3-2 for Nouns, and that's their third in a row.
Really starting to string them together earlier on. And this isn't even with the off yet. Like, we started to see Junior turn up a little bit at the end of Ancient, so you'd only imagine the same is going to be true, and maybe more so, because I gave the pass to Slight. I'll give it to Junior, too. It's not really an op map. Like, it's got its uses, sure, but Vertigo is a lot more mobile, or at least allows a lot more mobile of a playstyle, which I think fits Junior's archetype pretty well. However, this time in they go quickly, and Rush isn't ready. Junior to try and find a rebuttal. There's three sitting idly under the stairwell, and there goes another. Biting the dust, Junior's got it all to answer for. It seems the task at hand is quite difficult. Calls for Carson's assistance because of it, but it'll now just be Carson as they all get ready to encroach. Another man dropped, but a man disadvantaged still, no less.
Yeah, nice build up here by Wildcard, but both Nouns players are on the B site, so it will be a bit of a brawl. Oh, Carson spotted one up top, and he manages to slip away that Sonic, so they're going to try and deviate towards the A site. Could be a fake, but it doesn't feel like it because they're walking along here towards ramp.
What the? Look at Carson. He's walking back into stairs. How bold is this? He knows it's clear. CJ, I mean, at this point, he's only walking so he doesn't give away that they know they're coming A. But this is insane from Nouns. And they've got a decent chunky utility, too. Carson won't continue pushing the envelope any further forward, but Stan's already crossed. Catwalk is of legitimate worry, but Carson's going to use it himself. And Stan's not hiding the fact that he's here. But how close truly are they? Close enough for Stan to spot the head of CJ and put it all to the shoulders of Carson. A 1-on-4 effort needed. He's got a kit, a smoke, and 2 flashes. Beyond that, he'll be relying on his arms for a majority of it. And if he gets nothing, he might just start to fizzle out. And so he does. Like a thief in the night, he vanishes. But at the same time, ironically enough, gives Wildcard a round.
He was trying to bait them out there with those 2 shots. They know he's in this direction, but I don't know if they actually want to fight at all because their money's not great and every gun lost is a bit of a problem for Wildcard, so they're just going to run away, save the AKs they have. Carson's going to do the same, and that's just a great job from Wildcard onto the B site. They readjust themselves. Sonic somehow dipping out of that B site when he was already committed to it, and I thought he was going to get caught, but he didn't. And at that point, Wildcard realized, hey, they're both on B. Let's try to rotate. Now, I appreciate the effort from Nouns. Like you were saying, you know, going in, clearing out those B stairs was Carson, and CJ goes all the way back towards A, but the element of surprise isn't really there as much with Catwalk right now because players have gotten have made the adjustment. Now they have to watch it and they know it. And Stan was ready and waiting and took the head off of CJ before he even had a chance to really peek around and take a fight. Molotov going to get tossed up here from Wildcard. Nouns still had enough money to buy into this round. That AK certainly helped. Carson going to be rocking that. Nade sails through for scaffolding, but Wildcard are playing patiently here. They're not pushing up aggressively because they know Nouns love to use this util. There's the smoke pop. Junior peeking around, misses the shot. He is gone.
And CJ's left to pick up the pieces. He and Carson somehow on A this round. No, get careful, my boy. They're peeking up. JBA, get the trade. Good stuff. But a slight man advantage for Wildcard seems to escape the minds of Nouns for now, or at least in the way they're playing and they're acting like it. Walking into ramp like they got nothing to lose. In reality, this round is on life support. And Rush is still fishing for a trade, hoping it's handed his way. Everybody from Wildcard is here. So it's not like there's no potential around for Nouns. There is certainly an opportunity amidst the chaos that Rush cannot seem to seize. George, a 1v4, this time without a scratch on him, he gets the first, but they're going to hunt him down. They won't let him get very far in this one. JBA up high. Good support, good round, and good clean conversion from Wildcard.
Yeah, one thing that's a lot of teams aren't really employing on the CT side, I've noticed, is just that defense from Cat. Instead of going for 2 players on site, it's the typical Vertigo defense. It's just Cat's not being used at all by Nouns right now. They just need to post someone up there because you get kind of a deeper spot to hold ramp. And if you still have that player site, so you have a player site and Cat, it gives you a couple of angles for Wildcard to focus on instead of just having to look towards one. So anyway, we'll see if Nouns make an adjustment here to take that into account, but it doesn't feel like it. They're playing A the same way you would expect a team to play A before the changes were made here to Vertigo.
I mean, I will say, a lot of this, like, forward stance that you see isn't really going to change. There's not much adjustment that happened at all, if any. It's going to change what you'd see, like, toward Crane, toward Sandbag, toward, like, Side Hall. But as you really get into the nitty-gritty parts of the site, like as you lose side hall control, as you're forced back from Sandbags and Crane, that's where things get new and interesting.
Yeah.
And also on the inverse affects B.
I mean, I would argue you can still post someone up Cat and be a little more passive on your approach towards ramp, especially with how quick the T's can get up. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. There are obviously multiple opinions on it, and it's totally understood. But looking at this one, it will be Wildcard taking the site. There's only the rifle available, and it strikes true. That's Carson connecting onto Slate. Makes this retake perhaps a little more viable, but they don't have a kit, so I think it's all about doing damage into this one. Unless they find a quick second, then they can try and flood in, but they have to be very, very quick about it.
And they are not showing signs of quick pace, I'll say that much. I mean, I guess playing for exits isn't really a bad idea, but I am surprised to see them go so loose on, or so, I'm sorry, strong on not actually attempting the retake, instead favoring those exits. Oh, good damage, though. I wonder if that's going to mean much, however.
Oh,
Bomb
Sonic's
on
gone.
Vertigo is quite the dud, but yeah, no, Sonic fell. All right, good stuff.
That's actually really good for Nouns. I mean, they get a couple of rifles out of the round, an AK and an M4, and one that was just pretty much a full-on eco. Except for Carson, who saved the gun from the previous round. He will carry that forward again. Timeout going to be called from Nouns. Down again against Wildcard by 2 rounds. Just want to talk things over. Settle down the comms. And see how they should approach this next round. We have the op up. We do. Junior. Last time he was using it was towards the top of ramp, and he missed a shot and then was immediately taken out afterwards. So they're going to need a little more impact from him in that role. And I mean, there's really not many spots you can play with the op. Maybe towards B from quad or into the stairs, but that's not really a favorable engagement, and it's really oftentimes deployed at top ramp. So let's see if Junior can have an impact in this round as we get started with round number 9.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I feel like a lot of the times you're going to see an op toward B. It's more so in mid, if that makes any sense. Like toward like window, something like that. Nothing too crazy committal, at least until they fully go into the site, but that's also super situational.
He's mid.
Speaking of situational, he's walked all the way in, dude.
Wow. Yeah, that's one way to get the op into play. We'll see if they actually go in that direction. 1:25 on the clock. Wildcard creeping up behind this smoke that they've thrown for themselves towards B. That's Grizz, followed by his teammate JBA, who used to play with him on that Limitless roster. They built up chemistry there, and it's already proven to be fruitful in Grizz's early days of this roster. George, waiting here at ventilation, gets 2. What a transfer, maybe the third indeed. Rush and George combining for 4. George doing the brunt of the work, and now it's all up to Stanislaw. He's stranded and alone on this B site. Gets one. Nice shot from Stan. But he needs a lot more than that to get this plant down. Doesn't have any smokes available to him either. He's going to try and use the one that was thrown by Nouns to his advantage, but that's going to be popped shortly. Now they have visibility on him. Molotov is thrown. He's finding Util on the ground here and just making life difficult. No. Stanislaw gets another one. Now down to a 1v2, and he keeps isolating these 1v1s so well. Bomb planted.
Look at the way they're giving him so much respect. That fear earned after the couple of shots converted by the IGL.
Ooh.
And I was worried after the labored spray of Carson, even though CJ was close by. Those were more isolated picks. But this is a costly round that Nouns do end up winning, yes, but they still have to worry about the future. They grab the op. Beyond that, not a lot of W's taken elsewhere. Honestly, considering the start, how one-sided it was, that's a win for Wildcard.
So we move on. Wildcard. Enough money in the bank to get a buy up here. 4 AKs in the op. Nodding up and down. I think that was either Sonic or JBA just getting their team hyped up, saying, let's go. Let's try and get this one right on back. You do see this A defense, CJ, over at the top of ramp. It's not going to be a quick hit coming through from Wildcard at all. Carson waiting at the side hall. And now it's just patiently awaiting the arrival of Wildcard this time. None of that mid-aggression we saw in the previous round.
I like it, right? Because look at what it's done to Wildcard. They're in the same kind of mentality right now. Oh, wow. That could have been almost the round right there if CJ had stuck around. Opportunity for 2 kills, but 1 is certainly something they're happy with taking. Maybe not. As Carson this time gets a little greedy. Forced to give up a pick, and Sonic's picked up the op. Previously an opper. Time to roll back the years a little bit.
Oh, man. That's such a shame that Junior doesn't have the op out in that situation. He throws the incendiary instead. If he has the op out, he probably gets the trade onto Sonic. But, yeah, you're right. Sonic used to be, very briefly, the primary opper for, I think it was Extra Salt back in the day. But, and if not, the primary one was on the secondary op, which used to be a lot more common in CSGO. So he's no stranger to using it, and it's already down to a 4v2 in favor of Wildcard. Junior finally collects. There we go. Only a man advantage now for Wildcard as they throw that in Molotov on forward. Junior thinking about hitting a shot here. Didn't think that the player would go the other direction, but he absolutely did. And now, with Wildcard fading off, they're hunkering down for this post-plant hold.
And again, I don't know if you go for this. I mean, you got kits, some utility, sure, but not enough to make this worth. They're going to fall off again. Wildcard, these first halves from them, you got to give them credit. They're so strong. And I'm loving it. Continuously forcing Nouns out of these rounds. And it's so all over the place. We've seen good stuff from Wildcard pretty much everywhere. I will say, they've been fairly hands-off when it comes to mid. They haven't. I don't think they've done anything there, like, at all beyond maybe set someone up behind the generator for a couple of seconds. But the way they've gone about clearing out these sites, the way they've gone about taking ramp control specifically, getting in stairs and setting people up, has been so methodical. In almost everywhere you look beyond that, they know what's open. We saw a couple of rounds ago where Rush ends up sneaking down the ladder. He didn't get anything. Slight was ready for it at ramp.
Molotov at the feet of Carson. He is forced back here at side hall. He's going to toss an incendiary on forward. Sonic thinking about walking up here. He's waiting right behind the smoke. Here's the footsteps of Carson. Look at CJ. I mean, again, he's holding that spot on top of red box default site. It's so risky. He got spammed earlier in the half, and obviously hoping that was just a fluke, and it seems like so far it was. Carson waiting for a peek to come through. Grizz watching around, and still they're at a standstill.
That's so sick, man. They just picked George in middle, and they're going to use this to go straight full gas to the throttle into the A site, or no. They backed off as soon as they got that. You saw two motion like they were ready to go in, but I think the overarching call from Stanislaw, the idea was, let's back away or just reset. Let them get in their heads.
I don't know if I necessarily like that call. I think they had momentum there after spotting the frag onto George all the way into mid through that garage opening. That's the one risk, right? Is there's so much visibility through into CT from that opening now. But, well, they don't go in. Now it's 21 seconds. Time taken away. This is advantage Nouns now, I would say, even without having even numbers up. They just need one frag. There's the one. I think that's enough. Stanislaw will get one on back, but CJ gets the trade. 8 seconds left. Slight finds a frag. 5 seconds, and oh my goodness, they still win the round based off of frags because Nouns can't escape. I think if he gets away, bomb might not go down. That's wild. Nouns fall, and Wildcard have a 7-4 lead.
And I don't even know if it's going to stop there.
Yeah.
Look at what they've got to bounce back. I mean, you even saw them questioning what to buy. Took CJ till after freeze time to get the FAMAS out. And George hasn't started it off ideally. Instantly tanking a nade in stairs. It's the cost of getting map control, but you have to in a round like this. You can't play these long-range duels, especially when you've got one flash. And guess what? They just used it. Didn't get much out of it.
Wildcard again going for the slow and steady approach here into the sites. Incendiary is getting tossed out. Nouns do like to find early fights, so, I mean, Wildcard are trying to drag this out as much as possible to get Nouns as antsy as they can. Rush, waiting at mid. Flashback comes in. Molotov throwing for boost. Smoke as well at mid, and, I mean, just a lot of utility being dedicated here to try and attract a rotation from Nouns, but they're not biting. They know this hit could go towards A, so they still have 3 players here. Junior tries to swing, but he gets deleted. CJ manages one before he's traded out. 4v3 in favor of Wildcard. Only MP9s left. Can they do it all? Carson gets nada.
He doesn't exactly tee his homie up for success. Rush. He's got a lot of work to do. Let's just put it that way. They're just spamming smokes at this point. Like, it's confidence. You have so much of a man advantage. You have so much going for you. It shows, right? No reason to not just start throwing bullets through smokes. What do you got to lose? Oh no, one guy dies, traded out. Great half from Wildcard though, man. 8-4, impressive as they start to dictate the pace of this game.
Welcome back. Another deficit for Nouns to try and claw back from here on Vertigo. Not a very inspiring CT side put together by them, but they're on their T side now, which they tend to perform better on. That wasn't necessarily the case in the previous map, but let's see what they can do here on the pistol. CJ going for the boost up over the danger panel. He's going to climb up, look to blindside a player. Over on the site, JBA there. Sonic pops around off the flash that Stanislaw throws, and Wildcard in control. Firm control at this point. Only one frag for Nouns, but it's a demolition derby. Carson, last one standing in a 1v4, makes it a 1v2 with clinical shots from the Glock. Now, does he have bomb control? He does. Will he expect the flank? Slight is taking a huge risk, because if he goes down, it's a one and done. No trade in sight. Carson spots him first, but Carson can't get it. Wildcard win.
And it almost feels intentional by Slight to show his shoulder, because you see him at the very end of that duel crouch when he actually goes in for the fight, knowing Carson's been tagged up. So, as much as it was questionable to go for that duel in the first place, I love the way he went about it. So, Wildcard, it's not just a swing round, it's one that might put this away from Nouns. Though again, we saw them hit, not map point, but right up to it on Ancient. And that's where problems really started to arise. A force here. Interesting from Nouns. Trying to battle back early, but that nade, again, might start to make this an early closer. Two instantly dropped. The bomb still seems committed to this B-side attack. You gotta give credit, but beyond a couple of dinks and damage, just an unfortunate look from Nouns.
Well, Junior gets one, but he takes so much damage in the process, you can't imagine he's long for this world.
No.
Sonic holding forward here. 110 now on the clock. Plenty of time for Nouns to rotate off, which they will do, but they don't have the bomb on their backs just yet. They have to go and recover it, which now they will. What do you do from here? I mean, you got Junior and CJ are already lit up. Could readjust towards A, which is their plan, but you also have Stan's MP9 waiting on the other end. Stan's having a pretty good game for himself, not always the fragger, but here he's got 9, looking to get 10, perhaps even more than that. As they peek around this corner, he just spots them, falls back, says, I don't have to take this fight. Throws a flashbang as well, and Nouns will gain that space. Stanislaw, perhaps a little bit of risk on his side by falling back here, but he does have the support of his teammate Grizz, I should say.
Yeah, normally I kind of agree with the space taking back part, but there's only 20 seconds. Like, the pressure's on Nouns to make a move, and you see how uncomfortable they are when doing it. They have to space into the site, there's no smokes up, so many places to look. And as you said earlier, there was just, what do you do from that point where you get the bomb? The answer's nothing. And back to an eco, they'll be sent. So again, we'll see Wildcard strike the ball of 11. But past that's where things get a little more sketchy. And the rifles will come out to follow it too. But watch out, because this round, you're going to see some cash farming from the MP9s.
Indeed. Let's not forget, Wildcard an 11-4 lead on their map pick against M80. They lost that in overtime. So do not count Nouns out of it yet. A very solid team. I would say maybe a little less resilient than M80, but that's been changing as of late, for sure.
Yeah.
Nade's going to sail through, does a decent amount of gems for Carson and Junior. Another one follows up. The Chaser collects, and they're just being farmed by the MP9s. Like you said, the money being earned, $600 per frag for Sonic on that one, so he's got 1,200 total. And Slight, well, he's looking for 600 of his own. He will find it. They're collecting the money, the frags, everything. It will be an 11th for Wildcard as Carson falls.
Now we get to see what Nouns have in store for us on this T side. Alright, that's just... Sure, maybe his feet were cold. Alright, it happens to the best of us. I get it. But... these guns are kind of going to come out, and Nouns aren't really going to have more opportunities than this. You drop this, we're likely just kissing Vertigo goodbye, and still wondering what Nuke has on the horizon here. It's already a bit far-fetched to expect Nouns to win, but it's certainly not over by any stretch. Junior looking to start that cause as he mounts pressure and ram. Just utility, no push.
Nouns Like you said, backs against the wall here. That tends to be when they perform best, though. Junior. Waiting for the smoke to fade. It is a bonus round for Wildcard, so, I mean, the edge in Nouns' favor purely based on the hardware. And they're creeping their way up towards those B stairs. The smoke is currently preventing them from going much further, but that will fade right now. George gets underneath the stairs, waiting for his teammates to potentially join him, but I think he's just going to try and throw a wrench into the plans of Wildcard, perhaps be that lurk that can pull some players over, as the hit feels like it's coming towards A.
It does, but that's fine for Wildcard. Like, they're okay with this outcome because if there's any way the MP9s are going to do well, it's ramp. Unfortunately, it is still MP9s versus AKs. That fact doesn't change. But now with the timer again drawing nigh, over-rotations seem prevalent from Wildcard. Nobody's here. I mean, they've left the B site totally vacant. JBA, he'll be quick on the response. With only one smoke, he's not going to have the ability to do much. Throws it in off a whim and gets ready as a couple of players join him up for some assistance. Back to a 3-on-3. JBA almost sets it up perfectly, but maybe he has 15 seconds. There's nothing. There's Molly, but there's no smoke for it. You gotta stick it inside, but the Molly actually missed. It doesn't spread it in time. He tries to make a heroic move. He thought maybe, just maybe, with the time drawing so thin, with nothing else up their sleeve, it could have done it.
That is a perfect example of the difference between the incendiary before the update and after the update, right? Because that blooms towards the bomb carrier before the update, but now it's just kind of useless to throw in because you can still plant the bomb at default. That's an adjustment that CGs are going to have to make, is finding how to deploy incendiaries in situations like that where it no longer, you can't use the previous lineups that you had before. Anyway, Wildcard fall, like I said, probably the expected result given they had 3 MP9s going to that round. Here, if Nouns takes this one, things will get much, much closer. 4 AKs and the Galil for Nouns. They're also very low in terms of money. Another swing round coming through here. Sonic, Grizz, and one more lined up towards this A site, ready to receive Nouns should they decide to commit in this direction. CJ's the lurk this time. Towards that B site. Looking for that opener. Grizz is almost dead. He stays here for way too long. Carson through the wall and the smoke gets the headshot, and now Nouns have a couple of paths they could take. They can continue pushing up towards this A site, or they can readjust themselves to where CJ has been lurking for the entirety of the round. They don't have the bomb in their backs yet either, so you have to imagine that the rotation's going to come in.
What an odd boost. I mean, for a moment in time, looking back at it now, Stan is here, but it almost seemed like he was looking at the side hall push, not actually the ramp aggression. Oh, but if you... Oh, Carson is a sitting duck. And you saw him start to toy in with the idea of that boost coming in, but just not in time. Slight. He's left alone. What can he do?
That's bait from Carson. I mean, going down is fine because he just wants them to be convinced the hit's going to the A site, and it wasn't. B is the target. Now the reinforcements come in. Slight hits an important one, but gets traded out immediately. Numbers even at a 3v3. Bomb going to be recovered by George. Wants a frag first. Can't get it. Sonic collects 2, leaving Junior by his lonesome to try and clutch out a 1v2. He's going to stick the plant in the smoke. JBA charges up. Will end him right after the bomb goes down. Wildcard have a 12th, and they have 7 opportunities to close out this map and send us to map number 3.
They're more than happy to give you a bomb plant. What do they care? A little extra cash? Sure, why not? 3,300 bucks a pop. They do not mind whatsoever. So much so that they didn't even pick up the op. Wait, what? Huh, interesting. Slight's flying in this round. He doesn't have his one-shot wonder weapon anymore. That's a head scratcher for sure. But maybe they knew the buy would be lacking. I really don't know. I think it was just a mistake.
Yeah, there's just an oversight. Little detail not taken care of as they don't recover the op. Flashbang's going to come out for Nouns. We haven't seen many fast hits from Nouns, which is usually where they kind of find their success. Again, they're going for a little more disciplined Counter-Strike as of late, but I think in this case, it might have made sense to push out aggressively. Grizz is trying to line it up, but Carson does him better. And there is the first frag found for Nouns. They need, again, 7 in a row just to push us to overtime. But it'll be a very difficult task. Did get 6 in a row on the previous map. Won that in regulation, but this is a much taller task against the Wildcard squad that feels much better and much more comfortable.
Wildcard's protocols are just so strong, though, man. Lose one, that's fine. They shake it off and bounce back. And whilst it is a good start from Nouns, still a lot left to go, and utility doesn't exactly favor them. The one big kicker right now is that there's no mollies. So even though they might suspect JBA here, they're just going to have to hard clear him.
That flashbang does nothing to JBA. Going to peek around, gets one, only one. That is a very good trade. They still keep the man advantage as well. Sonic gets dinked down to 16 HP. That is from the Galil. Slate's trying to support, but he's going to eat a nade. Throws the incendiary down. Is that one on the mark? No, it's not. I think there was a smoke thrown into it, so it's not really a factor. And now Wildcard probably have to fade away.
So yeah, another one given away too. And I'm not gonna put it on the effect of losing the op here, but I'm sure they would have loved to have Slight on the big green this round. The one thing that I've really enjoyed seeing out of both of these teams is the way they use the op in senses of not getting kills. Specifically, one thing that comes to mind was on that first half where you saw Junior go in mid, yet rushes the one walking down ladder. That's an example of them using the op to have impact in the form of not a kill, but him having that ability with that weapon to go up into mid, to push deep, because it's just so much easier for an op to find that kill if somebody is there, and then let your teammate hold on to the space for free.
Wildcard are going to go for it again here. 2 M4s, the FAMAS, the AK saved over, and another FAMAS for JBA. Nouns still not the best of buy-ups, but, I mean, they have full utility. They decided not to upgrade to the AKs, even though their backs are against the wall, and if they lose a round, it's done. Which is why I'm kind of questioning it, but it doesn't matter. Let's see how this goes. CJ. Waiting here. I shouldn't question, actually. Of course, if they win the round, they still want to have a healthy economy. I'm going crazy here, guys. It's been a long day for me. CJ is going to get the headshot onto Stanislaw, and that'll make it a 5v4 in favor of Nouns as they continue to charge on forward here. And suddenly some momentum is going their way. Sonic's going to try to end that with the frag onto Junior, who hasn't had the best map at all.
Whoa!
Yeah,
everybody's here. Every single person trying to cross through the catwalk. They've got enough of a man advantage to try and solidify that, but the FAMAS is still posted. JBA gives him one to think about. But now Sonic's teed up for a 1-on-3. CT, side hall, sight, they're everywhere. Except together. So 1v1s present themselves at every single facet of this round. Though it feels like eventually this tide's gonna flip and they're gonna get this trade. But they're so scared of trying to find it. Looking everywhere except where they should. Jiggle's coming out. Sonic's got a kit in the smoke. This isn't over. Because it's not entirely planted for their member in CT. CJ, if he's going to get involved, it's got to be before that stick comes through. Smoke on the bomb. Taps it, baits out. CJ could spay! 1 HP. Sonic creeping around the smoke. George trying to get close before he spams. No, Sonic isn't on it at this point. You pretty much got to stick it. George still not spamming. He's so confident. And even if the kill comes through from Sonic, in the end it won't matter. It's the audacious call from George to not make a peep that keeps Nouns alive.
That is such incredible trigger discipline and patience from George. I mean, it's so easy to get baited into spamming in that situation if you're George and just panicking a little bit. But man, he keeps his composure well. And Nouns find themselves a 7th. Nothing that can be done by Sonic, who, I mean, was down to, what was it, 1 HP, right? So I think he didn't feel comfortable sticking the defusal because he knew if he did, one stray bullet and he's finished. So he felt like the frag had to be what he found, and it didn't come through.
And so we play on. Nouns inching closer to Wildcard by the moment. And round by round, they're starting to sweat just a little bit more. It's nothing crazy yet. Right now, it's only enough to pronounce it like a brisk jog. But you keep this pace up. One, maybe two more rifles. They're going to look like they just got out of the shower. Wildcard, this next rifle round, this is going to be one of your last weightless rounds.
Oh, wow. Junior through the wall, hits Sonic. Can't finish him off. He's surviving with 4 HP, and Nouns are making the adjustment. They're going to go to the B site. They realize A is stacked. Carson going to collect some ecos. A lot of ecos. 4K for him. JBA, last one alive. Maybe Carson gets the ace on this round. I don't know if they care about that at all. They probably don't. I mean, they're down 5 rounds. They still need to go on a crazy run to get to overtime. And yeah, they just get the frag as soon as they can. CJ going to deliver that. Now they're only 4 down. Here comes, I think, one of the last chances for Wildcard to close this out comfortably. Otherwise, it gets very dicey.
I mean, again, that's where all this pressure is going to come from. Right? Wildcard, they can still kick it back on easy street for now, and it'll be fine. But you know what? I was going to say, looking at the money, just half buy this. There's no reason to go tossing a full investment out here. None. And I love this call. You've got rounds to play with.
Yeah, they're talking about it. I mean, you could buy up here. There's a world where you can get decent hardware. But, I mean, I can see the reasoning for not doing it because you want to get Slate on the AWP. You want to get the 4 M4s up. So you say, look, we got the 4-round lead. We don't need to panic yet, even though, you know, things are getting a little bit crazy. That said, if they lose the follow-up round and they don't come out with anything here, then we're in double digits on both sides, only 2 rounds separating them. And it feels like it's anybody's game. Well, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's take it one step at a time, 1 round at a time. 3 5.7s and 2 Deagles available for Wildcard. George already pushing out here. Util being tossed onto the site. I mean, they're taking B. Oh no! JPA and Sonic get a couple. Rush and CJ are gone. This could go Wildcard's way. Is this how they win the map?
Feels poetic every time they need a big round. It always feels like it's the Pistols. The round should never be discussing that do it. However, their X Factor steps in now for Nouns. Carson, having a game of himself, it seems, has just salvaged this again from Nouns. A triple pretty much locks it in. But Grizz has got some low-key targets. He's got Junior, he's got Carson, both under 35 health and vulnerable to the 5-7. But Carson's got no fear. This guy's not a mere man.
He is the anti-ego king. 8 frags on the anti-eco for Carson.
Like that.
Well, you know, it happens. So, Nouns are going to get a 9th round. It got scary right at the beginning. 2 beautiful Wandigs coming through. But it doesn't pan out for Wildcard. So now, we talked a lot about this buy-up. It will be critical for them. Because should they lose this one, they'll probably be on an eco in the next. And then the last chance will be round 24. Oh no! Junior gets the opener onto Slight. George hunting for a follow-up as well. Doesn't see anything over the top of that smoke, so he's going to fall back here. What do they do? They look like they want to go for this typical setup of lurking towards the B site and then having 3 players leaning into A. Junior still hanging around here. Does he realize someone's really close to him? Grizz right next to him on the scaffolding. Smoke is gonna fade. Junior collects almost a frag. Stanislaw going to get legged. He hit Grizzly. Did he hit him through the wall?
Yes, leg through the wall.
What?
That's just a slap in the face, dude. And then they've got this backstab from mid out of absolutely nowhere. This is what I'm talking about, man. Wildcard. It's so alarming. When it comes crunch time, they start to show signs of weakness, and there goes that off. One of your biggest pieces of leverage you would have had in the following round, it's gone. You might have this M4 on Grizz. You might. But you can see how eager they are to steal this weapon away. Going into the later parts of this game, any rifle they can save are going to make these next rounds so much more miserable.
What is happening with Wildcard? I mean, this is the third series in a row where they've had a lead on the map and they're letting it slip away. And let's not forget, they also had that lead on the previous map too, and that one was gone. That was 11-7. This one's 11-4. That 13th round, so elusive for them. Grizz manages to get one, but he can't see anything. I think he runs out of bullets, and that's it for him. Nouns on to double digits. The important round for Wildcard doesn't get one. So that means they're on the eco here. Yes, they made some noise in some previous ecos, but right here, it just feels like Nouns have really taken control of the momentum of this match. 2 more round victories, they're into overtime. And if it gets to that point, I don't feel good for Wildcard's chances the way this one has trended.
No, not at all.
They need to win it in regulation.
I wholeheartedly agree. Honestly, knowing them, if there's any chance to win it, it kind of might be now. Like, Wildcard have done really well to encourage Nouns to go exactly where they want them. They've taken full control of Ram, seized it, held it away, frozen the asset, and now you've got to reroute to B. I mean, either that or mid. Point is, Wildcard have them exactly where you'd want. Within well-known knowledge of CTs, but these guns are not helping them out whatsoever, and just mowed down through the danger wall Sonic Balls.
George gets a follow-up too. He's collecting the eeks this time. Here comes all of Nouns. They're just going to barrel their way forward. Oh, nice shot from Stan. They overlook him a little bit. Good trade comes through. Keeps things under control for Nouns for the time being. Slight waiting with the 5-7 on site, and he will actually be the last one standing for his squad position. No, cleared out. That's going to do it. Slight got one at the end in the air onto Junior. It didn't matter again, as Nouns will be able to buy up again anyway, and they have climbed back from 11-4. And now at 12-11, the second map in a row where we are going the full 30, Wildcard have one last chance to end this in regulation.
And I don't know how much faith I've got in him, man. As of late, everything's just fallen to pieces. They're going to try to change things up, get the pace going. They go straight into the stairwell, and nobody's here to stop them, really. Knowledge known, though. Nouns, what do they do with that in mind? Carson's walking all the way up through side hall and barely avoids the molly! Look at that flash! It's a kill and damage! A 5-on-4 again in Wildcard. It's a nightmare!
Uh-oh. What do you do? Stanislaw. Spamming through the smoke. But Nouns have the edge. They know they've got Wildcard on the rope. Psychological advantage as well.
Oh my god.
Here they come towards the B site, and Incendiary is going to get tossed. But yeah, oh my god, indeed. Junior, a second in the round. Looking for the third, but no. Slight finally gets an answer for Wildcard. But the thing is, the presence is towards the A site. They're making the read to B. This is actually really good for Wildcard. They could come out with the advantage if Nouns can't hit their shots, and they can't. Sonic gets one. JBA the second. Wildcard. Oh no, they lose another buddy. 2v2, 42 seconds left. Head spotted. Carson spams down Slight. JBA left in a 1v2. What do you do? 34 seconds left. Are they going to A? They're going to fake it or go for it. We'll see what they decide. It looks like it'll be the fake, and JBA has bitten hook, line, sinker. Nouns get a free plant on this B site.
Bamboozled. JBA thinks he is a genius for reading onto this. However, seems like he's tonight's big loser. As the digits get tapped in, he'll realize his massive, major mistake, the miscall. And now he's got the world to work against just to deny overtime. No utility. Having to walk back in, clear out every little angle one by one. And little does he know, I don't think there's any kits on the ground. So he's going to have to do this all within a reasonable amount of time. And it'll be a lot more reasonable if they give you kills like that. 1v1, but there's a molly in play. You've got to try to get this kill before he can tuck away. But that's just the round. That's overtime. Wildcard again have trembled and fumbled at the finish. And we've got overtime on the cards.
Wow, look at that scoreboard. Carson and CJ leading the charge with 44 frags combined, split evenly down the middle. Everyone else contributing at key moments, I would say. Junior with a few important op shots, even though he only has the 9 frags. And George, I mean, he had some heroic plays to really help them get to this point as well. So here we go. Overtime is on. I already called it before. I felt like if Wildcard didn't close out in regulation, this is Nouns map and series. Let's see if we're right. It would be really awful for Wildcard if they get the round victory here, honestly. Because they'll be like, well, why here? Why did we get it in overtime instead of getting it in regulation? But it could just be Nouns continuing to just dominate. They've won, what is it now, 7 of the last 8 rounds. Or 8 of the last 9, excuse me.
It just feels like Wildcard have been lost these past couple of rounds, really. They somehow got to bounce back with all that in mind as the slate's wiped clean. Not good. Not ideal. And the only thing maybe aiding their cause is the slow pace of Nouns, but who knows if that's aiding or hurting. You said it earlier, it's that mental pressure on Wildcard right now. The longer that this round takes, the more you're just going to sit and sulk.
One thing that's good for Wildcard is they haven't given up that opening fight to Nouns. But Sonic's in a really weird spot. He has to be careful he doesn't time this wrong, because that smoke's going to be fading soon. Waiting around it.
They were going to need it open.
Yeah, they didn't. Flashbang thrown. Sonic's completely blinded. Carson moving up, trying to get the advantage. Does the damage against Sonic, who manages to fade away. They got 2 players. Stanislaw gets the opener. Trade comes through. Stan is good for 2 more, though. 4v2 in favor of Wildcard. Junior's trying to get it a little bit closer. George is, in fact, going to do that, spotting out Grizz, trying to peek from scaffolding. 21 seconds left on the clock. Nouns have to get a move on. Eventually, going to charge their way up to the site and try to get this bomb planted to dirt. Slight misses a shot, but they got too many bodies, and they forgot the bomb! Uh-oh! 8 seconds left. No chance at all for Junior to get this. And Wildcard win the round they needed for 7 rounds in a row. For 6 rounds in a row, whatever it was.
Hayes' Law, dude.
Oh
Hayes'
my
Law.
God.
Every single time. It rules over my mind. It's rent-free in my head. It's always the team who has a ton of match points that end up winning the first round in overtime. Like, every single time. Well. Back in they go. Wildcard, maybe some newfound confidence. A new groove, if you will. And I think one of the strengths they've had is these defaults toward ramp. When they're not actually going in to take ramp, but just holding it. They've actually looked really good.
Oh, Junior legging Stanislaw. This is what Wildcard did that led them so much trouble in regulation, is going for those peaks on top of ramp, and now is just waiting to punish. Junior hits the leg that time. Oh, Slight's got a chance to take out Rush, and he does! He hits the shot! There we go, another man advantage for Wildcard here, finding the opening frag. Grizz and Stanislaw going to trade spots, potentially? No, they just want to go for a boost and see if anyone's heading up that A ramp, and they will find Carson eventually. Along with Junior, if they head up that ramp and don't clear this boost. It's a common one. They need to look for it. You'd think that they'd be aware of this, but they're not. Oh, they are! Carson, what a flick! At the last moment possible, finds the head of Grizz. Sonic gonna go to boost spot, and he just eats you till he's gotta get out of here. Down to 15 HP. Nouns are storming in, and they are just unstoppable right now and getting this bomb planted. CJ around catwalk gets one. And I mean, look, Stanislaw's going to get one back, but CJ's so deep in towards CT that this is problematic for them.
And they're going to have to worry about this the whole time. Until this kill comes through, CJ eventually meets his maker, but so much time bought, so much worry called for, damage done, and health felt. But it's a 1-on-2 as the dust settles that George could easily take home. He and JBA, 2 big names for each team. Tapping the bomb. George just trying to run away. Bye for even
George
more time and getting hunted. At this point, it doesn't really matter. JBA, get the kill all you want. It's another attempt gone amiss, and Nouns tie us again.
Man, George is so good in those post plans. It's ridiculous. I mean, his patience, his poise, everything. He waits, he dodges the engagements, he pops out enough to keep JBA's attention, and then the movement is perfect, getting down that ramp. He knows that even if he dies at a certain point, it doesn't matter. He's attracted JBA down the ramp and prevented him from defusing the bomb. So Nouns tie it up at 13. That was a very scrappy round from both sides. But Nouns have to be happy that they've pulled it back again. And Wildcard, I don't know, man. I don't know. 2 M4s, the AK, and an A1S. AWP up for Slight, but both ops haven't really had as much impact as you would possibly expect. I thought it would be more of an op v op duel at the bottom of ramp, but that hasn't really happened.
No, and it's kind of understandable, to be completely honest. I mean, from Slight's perspective, it's gone so poorly when Wildcard have actually tried to peek in. And for Junior, he's just been feeling it when they walk into his angle. And he plays these spots so well, too. So eager for somebody to give him the slightest margin of opportunity. And that's one given to Slight. The one he won't capitalize. Carson, how far do you go? Grizz is waiting for this push. Carson, what are you made of? A headshot? Maybe more. JBA's low, so you gotta worry about the footsteps you take on A. The rotations won't be of the utmost health.
This could go B. This could very much go B. I think it's going to be a similar strategy they employed before, where Carson sticks around towards ramp, keeps all the attention there, and the rest of the Nouns squad go towards the B site. Here they come. JBA, the low HP player, the only one there, but Wildcard must have heard something. I think they got an audio cue, because 3 players will be ready to greet Nouns here. Uh-oh, a bit of a slip-up. Sonic gets the frag. JBA behind danger gets 2 more, and then Sonic racks up a second for himself as well. Junior collects on the frag, but that's probably it for him in the round, because time has run out. Oh, man, they just made a mistake somewhere. I'm convinced there was an audio cue that shouldn't have come through.
You're right. But I think the big MVP of the round there is Sonic, really. Because Sonic doesn't get there in time. And, you know, to most credit, that's off of the audio cue given over wherever it was. But if Sonic doesn't get that kill, if he doesn't move into headshot and find one of his own, JBA, hard cleared, 5 on 3. You go into a site, doesn't matter if Sonic is there. He's just going to get traded, bombarded with utility. But that one kill pulls all the attention to him as he tucks right back behind the box, and JBA lines and racks up too. Amazing from Wildcard. And when they needed it the most.
All right. Wildcard again. 2 rounds away from map number 3. Already talked about Nouns being a very dangerous team with their backs against the wall, and it feels like they're in a similar spot here. Their CT side of this map left a lot to be desired. Let's not forget, in regulation, they only got 4 rounds on the defensive side. So Wildcard, are they going to go for the quick abusal here? Are they just going to try charging up ramp and taking the fight immediately? It looks like it. Here they come. They're already near the top of it. Sonic looking for something.
Oh my!
Incendiary Molotovs. Everything is over here. What? They just stalled out now. Okay.
That's like the biggest wall of utility I've ever seen on Vertigo Round. And that was hilarious. Like a warehouse they just got themselves. Walls and everything. No roof, maybe, but that's because they'd blow it sky high anyway. But now with ramp control seized, I don't think they're going to overcomplicate this. We saw a couple of times in that first half from Wildcard, rather, their T side, where they would kind of make these questionable on-the-fly calls. They were never really all that amazing. But when they keep it simple, when they stick to what their strengths are, it feels like they do significantly better. And I like that they're doing that now. And they're doing this boost again from Slight. It worked so well before. Well, it won't get a kill. I'd still say that's a success. That isn't, though.
I don't know if it is, because Junior actually managed to get one over towards, I think, mid. Obviously off screen, but it is going to be a 5v4 in favor of Nouns. Man, would it be something if they can open up their CT side of overtime with a round victory. Smoke comes in. That'll guise off visibility from that garage opening. Sonic will charge up to the site. Smoke pop is good, and Rush collects a frag. JBA manages to get one back. It's still advantage in favor of Nouns. Nade comes through, can't deny the plant. JBA a headshot onto Rush. He continues to be absolutely ridiculous with 25 frags so far. And again, the spam from Nouns is not collecting. Finally it does, but Slight's good for the trade. Wildcard continue to hang on by the skin of their teeth, and even more now, but Junior hits the op shot, takes one back, but it's a leg shot from Slight. He might want another opportunity at that as the smoke comes in. Junior could try to stick it. He goes on top of it instead, and now he will stick the defusal. Is the knife going to come out? It does! Slight gets the 15th round for Wildcard. Another 2 opportunities for them to close out this map.
Looking a lot more confident now. You're going to start feeling yourself after you get a kill like that, even though it was pretty much a guarantee. Oh, it feels so good to get that stab. And now Nouns are the ones looking a little bit lost, worse for wear. Even though they opened that round with an opening kill, it looked good even through the plant. But Stanislaw is just managing some of the most insane impact. I mean, the kills on paper, like the number isn't amazing, but the impact is where the knock your socks off stuff comes in. Same with that pick from George. Jumps straight up, flashed in by Rush, and out goes Grizz again.
Smells like double overtime. I don't know. Smoke gonna come out here. Stanislaw down to 17 HP, so he doesn't want to go out by his lonesome. And we get to a complete standstill here with still plenty of time for Wildcard to maneuver. If a nade goes through towards B stairs, though, Stanislaw's probably dead to rights.
Nice nade. I think they caught the head of the player in the headshot box, but I'm not sure. But Slight eventually gets his one. Now they start to scale in. A little bit quicker with the assistance of flashbangs, but George, he's kind of left hung out to dry. And so are his teammates when he got Slight on the other end. Barrel posted a Junior. So many players, so damn close. But Junior doesn't strike anything. Instead, it's CJ. 30 seconds to kill. And now it seems like the round to kill behind it is, well, I thought they'd get the plant, but it also didn't matter. Stan pops his head back up, gives the 14th over. And Nouns are contending for yet another overtime bouting.
Oh my goodness. How many series points will Wildcard let slip away? Another one available to them. Now. What's that?
We're just adding to the tally now.
Oh,
I didn't even think about that.
It is. Look, this can't go to double overtime. I mean, come on, Wildcard. Close it out here. You've had so many opportunities. Nouns are exceptionally resilient. And there's another one. Junior, the shot onto Sonic. 5v4 immediately. Wildcard insists on finding these opening duels. Stanislaw will get a trade on back, so that helps. But unfortunately, they lose another player. And then another one after that. JBA and Stan, the last two standing, up against 4 Nouns.
This was 12 what? Do you recall?
Man, I honestly don't remember when they got to 12 and what Nouns had at that point. We'll have to check.
It was 11-4.
I remember the 11-4 for sure. I'm going to have a look here.
Because, man, we got a pretty big bill to pay back here if you're Wildcard. I mean, these match points are adding up. Well, you probably shouldn't order the Wagyu beef with it, but that's just me. As in, they scale at Stanislaw and JBA. Stan's been really good about managing this control of the catwalk, so there is that.
It was 12-5.
All right. And it was 15-13, so that's what, 9?
9
yeah, that's,
map points. And soon, the 9th will disappear. 19 seconds left for Wildcard here. Until double overtime commences. And it will be 15-15. CJ gets the headshot. 3K for him. He's at the top of the scoreboard now with 29. Him and Carson have been absolutely ridiculous on Vertigo. And, I mean, this has to... The more map points that Wildcard sees slip away, the more frustrated they're going to get.
Yep. And Nouns have got all the time in the world, really. Like, this is a team that came into this series realizing what they had sacrificed to be here, to be in this spot, to get to this spot in losers, and to give themselves the chance for EPL. We talked about it earlier. They disqualified themselves, they DQ'd from the other event to play in ECL playoffs. That's another opportunity in an international land they missed to be here.
I wish
it's not like they were just going to come in to lose.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't the case, though. I wish they got to play in both, right? It's just weird scheduling conflicts that, again, I hope we can resolve moving forward, in particular North America. And even South America, I think they have a similar problem. But anyway, back into this one, yeah, and you're right. I mean, Nouns are certainly hungry for it. They got a fire in their bellies. They want to make it to ESL Pro League and join M80 there, and then perhaps find their revenge against M80 in the grand final. JBA taken down to about half health. He's also had a game for himself, right? 27 frags. The previous map, they lost 13-11. He was unbelievable. He continues to be unbelievable here. Wildcard inching their way forward towards this A site. They love to go ramp. They've done it effectively several times against Nouns. They're really good at throwing that smoke. But Junior, again, another opening frag. Sure, he only has 15 total, but he's had so many openers here in overtime and in the tail end of regulation. Slight manages to get the response on Catwalk, which CJ was trying to watch. What a smoke pop as well, and Slight gets the follow-up. Now he's trying to light it up with the AWP. But Junior through the smoke gets JBA before he can plant the bomb. 27 seconds now. They're scrambling to try and recover it. Grizz will get it, and the bomb gets planted as Sonic drops Rush. This is chaos.
And you said it yourself. Junior, 16 kills, all impact, but that impact here will go to the wind. They couldn't pull it off because of it, even with that miraculous pop of the planter in the smoke. He might get a kill on the exit, give him that. I mean, shoulder scene, nice little shot. Those micro adjustments are the hardest, man, I tell you. But it won't change the outcome of the round. And again, Wildcard find themselves giving up match point just to pop back in and grab a slight lead.
Yeah, every time, it seems. They finally get the round they're looking for, but it's just one round too late. 16-15 in their favor. Nouns need an answer to that A site hit. It is just so poor. Once the wildcard comes through, they don't have an answer to the smokes. They're not playing the right positions to really counter it. And wildcard realized that, so they're going to continue to abuse it unless Nouns make the adjustment. I did see a little bit of an attempt at it because they were playing towards Cat and the back of sight there. I think it was CJ. But it ended up being Slight just wide peeking him or wide swinging him and managing to get the op frag. So let's see if Nouns have the answer this time. Again, if it doesn't come A, I will be absolutely shocked.
Not surprising to see both teams have a lot of success on the attacking side of A. I mean, man, it's just so difficult now. Not even because the changes make it one favor or the other. It's just the changes in general. You're not going to be as familiar or comfortable with them. It's going to take a minute. And it's going to take games like this for that to change. For now, however, it seems like they're confident just leaving Junior on his own little perch in mid. He did this one time, I believe, in regulation. It got them pretty far. It ended up winning them the round, if I'm not mistaken, but time is a ticking, and Wildcard aren't getting much a move on.
Molotov sails through. Sonic getting ready with the util as well. And again, look where it's coming. Bomb site A. Can Nouns finally deny them the space? Before they had an opening frag from Junior. This time they don't got that. 32 seconds left now on the clock. Junior waiting with the op. Will he connect here? It's a very tight angle, and no is the answer. Slight is the one to get it. CJ manages to get the trade. They're going to stick this bomb down to dirt. Again, 4 players left standing in the post plant. Wildcard also find one onto Carson. George looking to fight his way back into this bomb site. Rush looking around as well. CJ The smoke is protecting him for now, but Stanislav's right around the corner, and it's going to be Slight to get another one. His op has awoken here in the second overtime, and Stanislav and Sonic will wrap it up 17-15.
Could be the killing blow. Wildcard plus Slight's op equals a deadly prospect. With the other people starting to show up and consistently putting up numbers. Again, Stanislav, since I last mentioned him, hasn't improved a ton when it comes to terms of adding kills to his chart. But the same moral stays the same. Like, it's just impact he's finding. Every kill is huge. That, and he's setting himself up so well around Slight. There is a great example where he's perfectly playing around that smoke. If somebody tries to exploit, Slight's got his back.
Sonic with 2. Carson gets 2 right on back. I thought this round was going to be over quickly, but Carson's got the nade out. He's going to toss it forward, and Junior collecting onto Slight. 3v2. Wildcard got the 2 openers. This was a 5v3, but Carson got a response so quickly that Wildcard couldn't react. Stanislav standing in the incendiary has to use the smoke here. Nade will sail through as well, and it will do even more damage to him, down to 33 HP. So well played by Nouns, but Grizz will manage to slip through and find George and doesn't get traded, so now again down to even numbers, Anthran.
That's atrocious for Nouns. I mean, the one who's got 10 HP, Carson, he's got the M4. He's the one that has to worry about it, and they're going to scale up through mid. They won't hear him scope in, but they will know he's here eventually as he swaps the dualies and goes back in for the swing. Of course it is. Junior, impact on impact, finally puts something on the board for this second overtime.
It feels like both oppers are waking up at the same time. Junior, what a play! Pulls out the op for the first and then takes the dualies. I thought he just swings again with the AWP, but he said, you know what? I don't want to wait to chamber another round. I'm going to swing immediately with the pistols, and it works. Nouns avoid being swept in the first half of the second OT. That is such a huge difference maker, because instead of being down by 3, you're only down by 1, and you're right back into the swing of things, going on to your T side, which has been far more effective.
For 3 in a row? You really anticipate that? I don't know, man. Maybe with a little pizzazz on top, we can make it work, but for now, it still feels like we are looking at the side of Wildcard, and that's why Slight looking solid. So is his teammates. Grizz, a couple of times he was opened up in that first overtime. This one round, it seems he wants to have a little more impact and say in some of them, especially in the crunch rounds like we're in right now. Carson, not 20 seconds before he shifted into a 1v4, and Wildcard are starting to feel loose again. And it's funny, because JRT, you and I are going to have to see at least 2 more map points in their favor. Already tossed away 9.
Surely 10 and 11 is enough.
Surely.
Surely.
No question in my mind.
Nouns.
It's never happened.
Well, we know that's not true. Nouns only down by 2 here, though. They've done it several times already in this map. Let's see if they can achieve it one more time and send us to triple overtime, or if Wildcard can finally close this out and see what they can do on Nuke. Which, again, Nuke is not a favorable map for Wildcard. Even if we do get there, Nouns are far stronger on it. And Rush, well, he's still not thinking about map number 3. Insta headshot onto Stanislav as he pops up on the top of ramp. And now they're just going to molly out sandbags, make sure no one is there. Grizz over at Garage. Sonic peering over from the site. This is still not a done deal for Nouns, but they've given themselves a nice edge.
But what a Wildcard going for here? Are they going to retake side? Oh, they are! A smoke in, a nade to cover one of the angles, Slight's posted up, and he's given the kill on Junior. So maybe we are talking about map 3. One-man advantage is just one-man advantage! What? And JBA and Grizz have had enough! 9 map points is more than adequate. But the 10th is what it takes. And Slight turns around. George, he's still trying. He's still giving this an attempt, but it won't go far enough. And Grizz has said, Vertigo is done. Nuke is required, and we still have more to see of this team.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Finally, the map ends. The 10th map point is the end for the map. Wildcard seal it off a lot longer than the last map of ECL Season 47 before the grand final, and we are going into game right now. All right. Well, we got a map fly through, and then we go into game right now.
There you go. There you go. We got
There it
there.
is. Yeah.
End result. But such a salty taste left on the tongue of whoever gets the butt end of the stick in this game, man. That close. One map away from EPL. One map away from Pro League. It's just, it's losses like that that can be so devastating, and wins like that can feel so rejuvenating. Nouns, again, not a lot of complexion in this one. It's just an A-pop. Cut and dry. Grizz, the first contact, mollied out and forced up with the dualies. At this point, just stays alive. Gives his teammates time to do work, and so they do. Cleaning house is everybody on the A site. 4 huge kills to kick it off well for Wildcard.
And like I mentioned, a team that wins a knife round will have an edge, and I think Wildcard really needed to do that. They did win it. They start on CT side, and a beautiful defense on the pistol to open things up. Look at that. Clinical shots from Stanislaw, who's not usually known for his fragging ability, but was pretty solid on Vertigo, and gets the opening three of the 5 frags in that first round. Nouns going to be striking back with, well, nothing. They've only got Glocks. But they're going to be running through here, hoping for a bomb plant. Best case scenario, they managed to kill everyone with the Glocks. I don't know if that's going to happen. Probably not. Stanislaw getting eager for the anti-eco frags, though.
I like it. Look, man, get that money on the board early. Get that bread. Why not? Oh, maybe that's why. When you give a mouse a cookie. God, I love dropping that bar. Junior. He might ask you for another peek. And for a moment, you gave it to him. Well, return to sender, says Slight.
Yeah. You think you can tap with that Deagle? I can do the same thing with the M4. All right. Well, a little less impressive with the M4 than the Deagle, but you know, he still gets the job done. And CJ has grabbed that Deagle off the ground. Try and help it make a little more, help it do a little more work against this Wildcard squad. Smoke comes in. Nouns have slowed up again. They don't want to give Wildcard anything for free. They're just going to wait and hope that Wildcard get impatient.
Behind that smoke, lie 3 eager T's. Somebody who won't get patient in JVA. MP9 looking solid to kick off this one. Couple of kills, not too shabby. And Carson's going to try to sneak his way through outside. This is expected, though. Grizz is not going to fly pretty easily. And I like Carson's resolve to really try and make himself a nuisance to kill. Oh, I see what they're doing. God, this is grimy, dude. 7 seconds. Come on, you weren't stretching it that far, man.
Yeah, Carson eventually runs to his doom, trying to keep them alive long enough to kill him after time, but that just will not happen. Not on Carson's watch. As Wildcard take the 2-0 lead. Nouns will have the AKs up now. Rifles available, 4 of them, and 1 Galil. Nouns don't have that much utility, though, unfortunately for them. 45 on the clock. Round number 3 is very much underway. Again, as we talked about in the pregame, Nouns have a very strong record on you. 4-game win streak on the line. They're looking to extend that to 5. And I mean, it'll be the most important victory on this map that they've had in a long time, as they'll get a spot in Pro League. Carson the opener onto Grizz. Stanislaw finds the immediate trait, and then Carson gets blindsided by Slate. What a recovery here. This is just pretty much a bonus round that Wildcard are putting together, and Slight drops rush immediately. Nouns have shown nothing so far on Nuke in these 3 rounds of play.
Very, very slow start from a team that aren't entirely expectant of it. And CJ's going to go hunting, maybe a couple of kills in order for some rebuys. But as you said, this was a bonus, so it's not a huge deal. Lose a couple of guns, whatever. You were expecting to. And JBA, he might have his AK shipped to him. Same day delivery.
Unreal.
Huge stuff, man.
Free upgrades, 3 free AKs. Economy is building up. They have that foundation. Nouns completely stymied up to this point. They will be able to afford a half buy here with some Tech 9s, maybe even justify an SMG. I doubt it, though. There's not enough money. So it'll probably just be the techs that'll come through here. But look at this. Carson gets the opener, walks all the way out to the site, somehow overlooks Stan. So Stan is getting 2 for free, unexpected from Nouns because of how far up Carson is. And then the round is over, just like that. Here come the techs. Are we going to get a fast play from Nouns? They're very effective when they go for those fast pushes in towards the A site with this type of buy-up. We'll see if they try it here. Grizz, waiting, good flashbang thrown. I mean, it affords a peek from Rush, but he immediately falls back after seeing nothing. And they're just going to hang around lobby, 3 of them in fact. 2 of the others on Nouns are waiting outside, and they're going to throw the wall of smokes again. Walk up slowly. I'm not sure if the final destination is B or A. It might be a pincer into A. But no, actually 2 players going down into secret indicates that Nouns want to end up towards the B site.
I'm not surprised, really. I mean, one of those benefits of the B site is it's really hard to get into sometimes, but when you do, you're almost guaranteed a plant. In a round like this, kind of what the end goal is. But there's not a lot of assistance here for Wildcard. That's what you've got to worry about. Sonic has got to do a lot stuck on clock. And it's not exactly an untradeable angle. Clear is good, but the trades aren't there. And Sonic ends up with a double thanks to his aggression. Same with the players on A. Oh, okay. Only 1 for Stanislav. Grizz, the double might be awarded to him. As once more, it's only 1 man dropped. Wildcard staying rigid in not only the rifles, but the ecos, not giving anything.
I mean, you just said it, right? Only 1 man dropped in every single round so far for Wildcard. That could not be better news for a CT side. I mean, sometimes you're up 4-0, but it's so scrappy that you only end up with 1, maybe 2 players alive out of it. But here, I mean, they've been dominant. Nouns, I mean, looking at their scoreboard, it's a different player each round, finding 1 and then getting nothing afterwards. Rush has been completely blanked so far, and Wildcard continue to apply pressure onto Nouns. JBA, man, he's pushing up into this smoke. I think he wants to get an incendiary tossed up forward, and he absolutely will. Smoke is popped. JBA is through. He's into trophy. That is so much map control gained towards that ramp area that it's going to be tough for Nouns to threaten in this direction, should they choose to. There it is.
How much I like that. First kill, though, as you said, coming straight through from JBA, and he's going to fall away. Criminally gets that kill and gets away unscathed, but now he's done up for even more. They've got one hell of a crossfire, and this is a different demon in the making right now. Wildcard looking solid until just then. They scale down. Slight. Oh, wait, is he? They're not even going to bother. Carson thinks it's a free sight. Surprise! Slight's here and ready to game. A 1v2 now explodes in the face of Junior, who's at least got info. And the whereabouts of one locked down. Slight, where does he talk? Oh, door's about to pop wide open, but you won't hear it. Audio cue won't matter, but the info does again. Oh, shot matters. Everything shoulder seam. You can't miss this shot.
Oh
Junior
my
knows
God.
exactly how to bait the op. They get close, up close and personal, and I love that from Slight. Just get out of dodge. Does he pop open the doors again? Of course he does. He's not scared, but now it's his chance to make the next move. Junior's got to get the bomb and plant, and Slight's just toying with him. 13 seconds. Making him think it's a long-winded rotation. Fully sticking the plant behind the silo. The audacious play pays off. And now it's Junior's favor.
Oh my goodness. Junior, 1v1, AK versus Op. Slight has been playing the games, and he finally connects on the shot against Junior. What an effort!
Oh,
and the
no!
BM, he is just standing on him, firing at his head with the Tech 9. Finally will go for the defusal. Man, there is no love lost between these two teams as Wildcard take a 5-0 lead.
Counter-terrorists win.
Whoa.
Guns are coming back out. Like, you got that for Nouns, but this is a different looking team. This is not the wild card we saw on map 1. This is not the wild card we saw on map 2. And sure, there's some mistakes made in the mid-round. This round shouldn't have come down to a 1v2. It should have been a easy open and closed case. But a couple of ways back in, Nouns were given the chance. Wild card slammed the window on their fingertips. And it's getting scary. Round by round, you're running out of time. Oh my god, and look at Slight. Are you kidding me? All the way in lobby! Oh my god!
I love the idea. Oh, wow. That's a ridiculous trade. Sonic just literally spamming through the smoke and hoping it connects, and it does. I thought Slight was going to get that. Missed it.
Watch it.
But it's so bold for him to attempt that. Sonic spamming the smoke, doesn't connect on anything, and two players slip into secret once more. I mean, again, they're getting into that B site, but the bomb is still very far away from that positioning. And is the bomb going outside? I mean, the wall of smokes is gone. Yeah, Junior's going outside. Do they have a couple of smokes to throw? They do, so they're going to have to get at least one for Mini here, and another one to guys off Junior's advance towards that B site. Could have taken maybe an easier path, trying to take some ramp space and grouping up with the two teammates from B. I don't know. Wildcard won't win that fight. JBA finally dropped only his second time dying in 6 rounds. Nouns have that man advantage.
And now if you're Wildcard, you have to seriously consider if this round is worth going for on the retake. And I don't think there's a lot of value in it. You've recovered the op. You've got a couple of really good guns. And you're buying in the next round so long as you can hang on to most of them. I mean, hell, you don't even really need to hang on to any of them. Just makes your buy that much better. Sonic, vulnerable and not suspecting of George to still having lurked, or to still have lurked outside. So another kill is stolen away from Wildcard, and same with a weapon. What's Grizz going for here, though? I think just a couple of exits. I mean, so long as you're not the op, you can afford to do this. Hurts them more.
Oh, and I mean, Grizz is going to get one onto Carson. Nouns should be able to walk out of this with their rifles, and they will. A lot of bomb damage done there, but they survive. And first round on the board, I don't know. Like, again, early wildcard lead. They've kind of had it repeatedly here throughout the series. It's hard to believe that Wildcard are just going to power through to the finish line with this lead intact and not really allow Nouns much space to compete. And you're already seeing it there. That's the first chink in the armor coming through. And I feel like a follow-up Nouns round wouldn't exactly be surprising. Luckily for Wildcard, they've built up a very strong economy, so they will have a full buy coming through. Grizz dropping down towards A. Nouns, they might deploy their signature blitz into the A site, but that's not going to happen. They're favoring the wall of smokes. They're playing the mind games round after round. Wildcard's patience has paid off for the most part. Now Nouns are going to creep their way towards outside yard. Sonic looking into A, the Molotov sailing in. Actually, they're going to pinch in. Now's a great opportunity to do so. Here is that blitz. CJ and Carson get a couple. Stanislaus alone, very isolated, and CJ says, see you later, spraying him down with the AK, and now only JBA and Slight are left. JBA's position very much known. He has to win a fight here, which he might if Carson gets too impatient. Incendiary throws for credit card. Carson does get too impatient, and it will be a frag for JBA, but I can't blame him because all 5 players were alive, and they know that Wildcard aren't going to try to go for this retake.
Yeah, now it's Nouns' turn to hunt. You can see them getting eager. Again, Slight needs to save this off. As we go later and later on into this game, you can't keep rebuying that. You're going to start to feel that effect ASAP. In fact, oh, actually, hold on. Talking about returning the favor, Junior is happy to do it.
Ooh, all right. Wildcard, they built up that bank, so that means another decent buy-up comes through. Certainly not as strong as the previous 2, but it still will feature that saved AWP, and then the A4 and the A1S, along with a 5.7 and an MP9. But Nouns, their resurgence is coming. You feel it. Smoke gonna get tossed for outer yard. Stanislaw gonna throw a smoke in response to the utility that Nouns have thrown their way, and JBA boosted up onto boost spot there in ramp room. That could be potentially lethal. It's often a spot that's overlooked, but it won't matter. Nouns are just gonna pinch into the A site. Oh my goodness, the pressure that Grizz is under. Molotov burning at his feet, but somehow he gets one. Stanislaw a follow-up, so they have the advantage. CJ steals that away from them, evening out the numbers at a 3v3 and does even more. Finally ended, but then JBA and Sonic get two back. How have Nouns let this slip away? Potentially. Junior still standing, has the bomb on his back, but another clutch is required for them.
Yeah, but what's shocking is the fact that Junior doesn't continue his persuasion of the A site. Instead, he's flirted with going back to the seats of JBA.
Oh
Perfect. Great positioning. And again, it's back at you, buddy. Oh, we're getting dirty this game.
Yeah.
You can tell, man. It is not friendly anymore. We're pushing past that point. When you got a spot for ESL Pro League on the line, oh, it ain't just going to be sunshine and rainbows, picking dandelions in the outfield. They're going to make sure you know it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, they're both, like I said, no love lost between these two teams. And Nouns have been known to do a lot of BMing in the past, and Wildcard just returning the favor. Also, both these teams have been playing a ton of Counter-Strike as of late. They're probably pretty tired, a lot of fatigue coming into play here. And I just, you know, sometimes when you're tired and you're winning these tough rounds, you're like, I'm just going to rub it in their faces, because I really want to end this one and come out with the victory. Timeout going to be called here by Nouns. Need to talk things over. They will have another buy-up coming through, but man, oh man, that is a tough one for them to lose after it looked like they were going to gain some momentum. Wildcard have ensured at the very least that the score line, the biggest score line that Nouns can get to is 6 to tie it up.
What's the best half we've seen on a wild card this game? Do you recall? Was it 8-4?
It was 8-4.
Or was it 7-5? Okay. I couldn't remember. Point is, not that far off of repetition here from wild card, and we saw how that unwound. Be it, this is a different battlefield. The story stays pretty rigid in that sense. Good opener, though, from Nouns. Starting to turn up the heat a little bit more. Rounds consistently starting to favor them, not off rip, but in the entirety. And we look elsewhere for Wildcard's rebuttal. You've got Stanislaw tucked close to the vents. You've got Slight trying to find something back in lobby. But across the board, these aren't the most opportunistic angles. You've got JBA, I think, in the vents. He's on clock. So he's the only one really in the spot to get a big kill right now. But on the flip side, it feels like everybody's in the prime spot. Junior with one of his own, and getting ready to pounce into B, but the world's their oyster at this point. There really isn't any doing wrong this round from Nouns.
Things still could go awry. 42 seconds left. Stan's just tucking in here, hoping that he gets overlooked in this position. And Slight's over in the ramp room. They're really isolated from each other. That's the biggest problem for Wildcards. They're all in one and done position. Stanislaw takes the initiative, finds George, picks up the AK, gets the follow-up, could even get a third here. Junior's backing off. 24 seconds left. They didn't plant the bomb yet. Oh, what a flick from Stanislaw! Junior finally ends him, but look where Slight snuck into. He's on default. 15 seconds now. No way Junior expects this. Carson the last. He will find the trade. 10 seconds left. Bomb plant is secured. JBA is hightailing it over from that B site to engage in the 1v1. Flash gonna get thrown in. Carson knows exactly where JBA is coming from. Nade out, and JBA gets it. Carson done. The 5v3 evaporates, and Wildcard win a 7th.
That shot from Stan is ridiculous. I do not get it. I mean, this round was back on after he got the first two. And they do everything right here. I mean, Nouns, his first kill, whatever. Write it off. CJ sucks. Gun wasn't out. Everything else, perfect. Nouns, the right call, the right play. But Stan steps up. He's more than just a brain. And he shows it there. I mean, last game I talked about how it wasn't the highest standard of kills, but they were all impact here. It's both. Top in the charts, all impactful, shutting him down and giving Wildcard 7.
All right. I mean, this is a crazy lead for Wildcard, especially considering the way that they've done it, but we can't forget, Nuke is CT-sided. We have to wait and see how much Nouns can put together, but it's not as CT-sided as it was in the past, so if Nouns only get 2 or 3, that is extremely problematic. They're going to come through here again. They are getting bomb plants here and there, so you will see a couple of AKs, in fact 3 AKs up here. 2 Galils available. JVA, they're not clearing top. He gets 1 and a second before being ended, but that is a man advantage. Rush the timing! He will get the headshot onto Grizz. I thought Grizz might have the edge, but Grizz walked in with his back turned, checking towards Squeaky. 3v3, bomb planted here. Stanislaw and Rush. Engaged in a duel. Stanislaw's going to win it.
Vengeance for Vertigo. Big crunch round came in the same way, but in the inverse. Junior George, tucked in, 1 in dark, 1 in control. These angles can be so tricky to clear. Sonic could flick, but it's only a dink. These kills need to come through quick. Now they know where both players are, and they've even got 1 added to the tally stand, pushing down. Op gets the trade. It's looking solid, but he doesn't have a kit. I don't know if he's got time, but he was going to try. That opportunity has passed, and the ship has sailed. Kills came in, but the round did not.
Lucky to escape with his life. Honestly, he didn't have the kit. It was dropped right at the double doors. He goes and grabs it, but he doesn't know where the bomb is and can't get to it in time. It's over. Now squeak through with a round victory. And because these last 3 have been so very close, that hurts the CT economy way more than the T1. You see that in the buy-up that's come through here. Slight at least has the AWP that he saved over from the previous round, but everyone else just trying to scrape together whatever they can. It's going to be 2 MP9s, a Deagle, and a 5.7. Over on Nouns, they got 3 rifles, 2 Galils, the AK, a MAC-10, and a Tech-9. They're looking a lot better than Wildcard at this point. Folks, it is not over yet. Do not count Nouns out of this one, even though Wildcard has looked very good up to this point. Oh no! Oh no! It's a 5.7!
Two, dude! I don't know! Stan again! His answered the call to action. You said it's not done. That's exactly what I'm about to say for Wildcard as the op goes back in for seconds. Double dipping. Typically frowned upon. Wildcard here encourage it. And now Carson's got a triple dip if he wants to make a 4th happen.
No way. No way. Again, Wildcard winning the rounds where you don't expect them to, although they didn't get it yet. There it is, though. Slate with 2. He has been so good with the op. I mean, he started to feel it in that second overtime, right? I talked about it in overtime in general, looking very solid. He has carried that over in such a big way here to Nuke. 11 frags on the board, only behind JBA, who's been their star throughout the entirety of this series. But man, oh man, what a time to come alive for Wildcard. Stanislaw with the pistol frags. I mean, he's got 13 as well. Forgot about that. I mean, he was ridiculous for 2 rounds in a row. What is going on? Wildcard could have a 9-3 lead, which would be their biggest lead taken into a second half so far. Here comes Nouns. They're going for that blitz onto the A side. Grizz gets 1. Stanislaw is 2nd. They're dropping the bodies. There isn't much of a buy here. Carson does manage to get another one, but it's all up to him. And he stays alive a little bit longer, but so low on health that these 2 rifles are a whisper away from taking him out of the server. JBA flicks around. That'll do it. 9-3 for Wildcard as we head to the halftime break. We're back, folks. Final half of this match. And the winner? Spot in Pro League. There couldn't be more on the line. Let's not forget they're going to go to the grand final as well to face off against M80, but that Pro League spot feels a little more important right now. A lot more important, let's be honest. Here we go, Wildcard, a very strong CT side, but on a CT-sided map, well, perhaps Nouns can do the same. George opens it up with 2 dually frags, but they slip through the vent.
Oh my god, look at the CTs piling into ramp, though. As soon as they dropped down after that kill, you saw 1, 2, 3 instantly walk back into that bomb site. And they were hoping that maybe on the fly they could, like, have somebody come walk into Slight, but no, it's discipline.
I'm sorry, this call from Stan is ridiculous. Like, they dropped down the vent, looked like they were going B, and he's actually coming back up from Secret. Oh, Slight gets spotted. Great move from Rush. Gains a lot of information. They realize, yep, it is going to go A, but is that enough? Stanislaus been so good so far with the shots on Nuke. Can he deliver some more pistol frags? There's another one. He already got Rush down to 12 as well. And they're just going to wait. Like, he's waiting for them to engage here. They got plenty of time.
I mean, this plant, it's a guarantee if they want it, but something tells me they want a bit more. And here's what's crazy. If they go in double push lobby right now, Carson and Rush are both susceptible to this. If Wildcard were to come out the winner, it's an honest-to-God one-on-one with one of the most crucial pistols of the series, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to trade it out. Carson!
Oh.
Good spot on the burst. You know Rush is low. That dink came in earlier. You know it. But the third one is complete mystery. And Junior came through in the nick of time, so Nouns refused to back down.
Stan made a footstep too soon. He made a footstep too soon, and that triggered Carson. He's like, what? What was that? And he flicked around towards Squeaky immediately, and that's what did them in. Great patience from both sides, honestly. Nouns not moving a muscle. Carson and Rush were back-to-back for so very long, and it ends up paying off that they don't hunt for more frags, which is very hard to keep yourself from doing, especially when time is just ticking away on that clock. 4th round found. Nouns, 4 MP9s and the A1S. No bomb plant afforded to Wildcard, which means they're on the full-on save. $0 spent into this round. They just have the Glocks. They are already through Secret, though. In a 4v1 against CJ, they can overload him with these Glocks, and they will eventually. That could secure a bomb plant. George trying to close the gap quickly, but George gone too! What crazy work from JBA with just a Glock in his hands. Upgrades to an MP9, picks up a nade off the ground, and they're trying to flank him out at this point. Do they have the bomb? Well, it won't matter. JBA naded out by Carson, and that quickly ends. But still, JBA, unbelievable. It doesn't matter what he has in his hands, it seems. He's still able to deliver frag after frag, and he's topped the scoreboard again at 17.
It's just so scary. Having someone as volatile as him on your team, bro. It's just crazy, man. Like,
I can't believe
how does he keep pulling this stuff out?
No. And you know what the crazy part is? I don't even think JBA's hit a ceiling yet. I think he's still got way more lethality to come, especially, you know, once they start to have more tier 1 events where LAN experience for him is a little lacking, and that's where they need to get to. So Pro League would be huge in that regard.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. I mean, dude, the kid's 19. Like,
yeah,
he's got a lot of wiggle room here, fellas. Not as cut and dry as top fragging in your own region. He wants to top frag on the global stage. And he's looking to punch that ticket now. Because he himself could start them on the path with a big round here. It's all a domino effect. One kill here. Another round after. Topples over. UPL berth. All this right on the tip of their tongues. And for players like Stan and Sonic, it's not their first time around the block, but Grizz, JBA absolutely is. That might get some worry in him, but apparently not if you're JBA looking this damn solid. Another entry on not low HP. Junior getting pushed down, and there is no way he is escaping. They won't allow it. They refuse. Another nade on JBA. He places that right, and it's bye-bye Junior.
CJ,
there he goes.
Yeah, there it is. Perfect. Exactly as you called it. JBA connects. CJ manages to get one back, but the round is effectively over. CJ doesn't have a kit, and Wildcard just have too many bodies. They want to try and finish him off. They do more damage, but, I mean, CJ is pretty resilient here, and you don't exactly have that much money on the Wildcard side, so you have to be careful how aggressively you hunt here, and JBA just has to focus on staying alive and getting away from that bomb. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he's far enough. He's not. He goes down. That's not safe anymore at the back of ramp. It depends on where you plant the bomb, but usually you won't survive there with less than 20 HP. So, another gun lost. Wildcard still get a very important 10th. They hit double digits first. On the Nouns side, well, again, they have a hill to climb here on Nuke. Only that A1S afforded to them on the save. Everyone else is sticking with, I think, USPs. Well, maybe not yet. They're talking this over. They want to decide what they'll do, because Carson has 5.1k. Yeah, they're going to go for a 4-spy. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's 10-5. It's so critical. Like, if you go down 11-5, it's already really tough, even though they have come back from it twice. For a third time would be really difficult.
I mean, eventually you're going to run out of stamina.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter what team you are. This is almost overtime map 1, double OT map 2. And you'd have to go the distance again. So, Godspeed, Nouns. You're going to need it. And this round might be a stepping stone on that path. But in they go with a weakened buy. They put it all on the line. The expense of losing, big. So they'd rather not discuss it.
Made. Here come Wildcard charging on forward. Stanislaw gets a TK and then George gets the pistol frag. Rush follows up with an MP9 frag, and Nouns are right back into this one. JBA tagged down to 41. Slight still at full health, but Nouns have a beat on both of them. JBA deleted by Junior. Slight, last one standing. Can he clutch it out? Well, he's already tagged and finished off. Answer is a decisive no. Nouns get a 6th and prevent Wildcard from getting a stranglehold on this map.
That's gotta hurt. I mean, again, right idea from Wildcard. That was the right call. There's only 2 on A. They had the first one dead to rights. George was full blind, standing in fire. Man, you can't do much more than that. You gotta wipe that off. If there's one thing I've learned from my competitor days, if you will, in a multitude of areas, stuff like that's gonna happen, right? And what's really gonna show your resolve is how well you're able to dust that off. Sometimes, on the fly, you can't sulk on stuff like that. You can't go, man, you just gotta let it go. It's done. And that's, I hope, what Wildcard are doing. But it sucks because they've got a whole eco now they have to play out, and that one spot, that one little piece is going to be on their mind the whole time.
Got a Deagle. Sonic carrying that. And they're going for a quick push outside. JBA's run through some utility in order to get down towards Secret. George sprays down JBA before he can get down there, though. The rest of his team will. There's only one player here. CJ gonna have to do work. Gets the first. Sprays Slight down to 15, and that's probably enough. Yeah, Junior cleaning up top means that Slight probably won't get this bomb planted. With only 15 HP left, there are players on every single site, and Rush will not allow him to take a step outside of that vent. 7th round picked up for Nouns.
Well, maybe they don't have to get that far for Nouns. Maybe we oversold this a little bit, because, I mean, they're only a hop, skip, and a jump from grandmother's house. And, oh yeah, that international land. But this rifle round, it's not going to bode very well, having lost, if it is lost for Wildcard. Money's not great. I mean, you're at this point giving up 2 for the price of 1. It's a fire sale.
Nouns trying to keep Wildcard on their toes, spamming through the hut here, in towards lobby. Wildcard consistently trying to take this space outside towards Secret. Hasn't really yielded much in the end, and I mean, Nouns are going to give it to them as it stands. 3 players up in lobby, bomb by their feet. And full 45 seconds expired in this round with not much to speak of.
Yeah, this is one of those rounds that Wildcard are really going to make sure they've got their wits about them.
There is one problem for Wildcard. They're running out of util, so they're going to have to fight very soon.
Right.
There's the smoke thrown in towards Mini. Another one into Secret. Incendiary tossed in, and oh my goodness, to use that much util and not take space into a bomb site is even more problematic. Only a smoke and a flash left now. Junior's got the audio
Stan's
too.
never clearing this. He's never clearing this. I mean, you've got the distraction of the player in hell. That's more than enough. You're never going to clear that. It's a free opener from Junior. Out-positioned. And now they've got to make their gamble, and they've got to do it quick. Because with 30 seconds to go, you already mentioned the lackluster utility. Now they've got 1 smoke. And they've used it right. Single door. Completely covered. Bomb plant might be acquired thanks to it. But the kills are far from it. Nade to pop it open. Slight's not got long left for this world, it feels, or maybe he does. JBA behind his back. It's 3-on-3. They're attempting to post, but Nouns are set up far better.
Junior's got to get into the fight here. They're waiting for him to join up. 3 flashes and an incendiary left. Wildcard have no util, and that could cost them. Grizz gets the headshot. George hard clearing the cubby, and the last one he gets 2, makes it a 1v1, tapping around. Can he get the clutch? Junior is done and dusted. JBA, the quad kill, 23 on the board, and an 11th for Wildcard.
Who else would give it to him, man? At this stage of the game, who would you turn to? But the guy we have talked up, we have glazed, we have mentioned the whole game, JBA. And after that, call a timeout. Yeah, that's attack for you. And Nouns are going to let that one sink in.
I mean, look, if Wildcard close this out, JBA is the MVP, no questions asked. He has been unreal every map, at the top of the scoreboard or near it, almost the entirety of each one. And right here, I mean, he's the only one that's hit 20. Stanislaw's not far behind because he's played out of his mind here, which is not the usual expectation from him, but it's great that he's contributed. And Slight on the CT side was very good with the AWP. Over on Nouns, it's not like these players aren't doing well. Junior in particular is having a nice game. CJ with a few multi-kills, but I mean, they need to string together some rounds now, and Wildcard really made life difficult for them. What a clutch from JBA. I mean, you see the economy is not great for Wildcard because they lost everyone there, so they're having to settle for a couple of deals in the back 10. But it kind of feels like it doesn't even matter. With the way Wildcard are playing, and JBA in particular, they can do pretty much anything.
I mean, maybe with a MAC 10 in their rankings, it's going to be slightly discouraged, but...
It depends on how you deploy it.
Oh, wait, I heard typing. No? We're good? We're good. Oh, shoulder scene of Carson. Gets away with just a scratch on him. Good flash. CJ just has to run away.
No way. Oh my goodness. I thought that Wildcard had an opener there again. Now the nade comes through. It won't do any damage. It goes right in between everyone. Wildcard were thinking about going down secret. Instead, they double back here, throw a smoke towards Mini. They know that Carson is lit up in this direction. They don't know it's him, but they know that there is a player that is very low. And they're going to deviate back towards the A site. Grizz coming around this corner. Carson's taking a pretty good angle. Misses the shots, and that'll do it for him. 5v4 finally gained. 33 seconds left on the clock, though. They have to gain space and fast. And I mean, Nouns have to have the read as well at this point. Rush waiting, watching there towards heaven. 23 seconds left now. Yeah, indeed. Because, I mean, Rush could end this by himself. There's Grizz, low spot out, jumps down. George and Rush combining, but Grizz does manage to do one, but George doing him one better. JBA finds a trade, 8 seconds. Are they going to plant this? They are going to plant it. Junior's trying to come out and deny the space. He does get one, but it's up to Slate. The 1v2 gets the first.
No.
Up against the Opper. 7 HP left now. The nade is there for Junior. He has the nade. Does he throw in the right spot? He does not. Junior pulls out the pistol. He knows that Slate is very low. He figures that Molotov is going to be enough. No, he doesn't stick it, and it's a full 10-second. Gets the headshot. That's enough. Defusal comes through. Wow, these rounds are crazy.
Dude. Oh, man. Wildcard, they do everything. But I was with you. As soon as I saw Rush in that spot, sitting on the Raptors, it just felt like everything was lining up for Nouns. Yeah, it's 4-on-5, but you had 2 players low. You didn't have a ton of utility. You had time dwindling and not a ton of it to set up. And then Rush catches a shoulder on the first glance. He knew what was coming. It's so hard, man. Clearing out that Mustang angle is so much easier said than done.
Oof. My heart's racing. I'm sure both these teams are having the same, I don't want to say issue, but situation happening to them. As it is exciting CS that's being played right now between these two squads. Stanislaw and Grizz pushing out, potentially going in the direction of CJ, who's waiting, pulling himself back, knows that the possibility of Wildcard being on a pistol run is very high. And he will find the first onto Stanislaw. Don't know if he spotted out Grizz as well. CJ's just going to double back into credit card now. Rush could be the next point of contact.
These rounds so hard to maneuver, but they've invested a lot of utility into it, so... Bomb plant, certainly an argument you can make. Oh, good flash. And they might waste all of their resources trying to shut down a vent drop that isn't going to happen. Eventually, it does come in. But the game plan here was getting a plant, and they might have earned that. Carson, next problem to worry about. JBA doubled back with the bomb. Never mind, it's over.
Yep. The Glocks, the Eco Round, doing absolutely nada. CJ the King, the headshot to wrap it up. And it is 11-9. Once more, the big lead that Wildcard builds up has faded away. It was 9-3 at the half. Since that point, Nouns have gone on a 6-2 run. Wildcard have a chance here. 3 AKs, 2 Galils. JBA the hot hand. JBA can get a couple of openers, make something special happen again, then Wildcard could find themselves at map and series point. Nouns have other plans, though. They're getting aggressive towards outside. 3 players headed there. Junior at red box. I don't think we've seen him here so far in this entire half. And he gets an opener as a result. They're not expecting it at all. Could get follow-up. Who would have thought he would go for the repeat? Certainly not Wildcard. 5v3 in favor of Nouns, and now CJC Sonicer just suspects him being in the vent. I don't know if we got an audio cue, but the spam comes through. 5v2 in favor of Nouns.
Oh, man. It's happening again, JRT. It's happening again, dude. 11 is the most cursed number for Wildcard. It lives in their dreams and not in a good way. They're going to think about it when they go to sleep at night. It's going to be on their minds when they wake up. They go to take a walk outside, take a drive. All they can think about is that number because every single game, it is presented a problem for them. Closing a game is something Wildcard have struggled with all day.
Wildcard pushing in. Rush deletes the first. It's just pistols for Wildcard. They're hoping that they can create some noise here. Oh, the smoke pop, and Rush gets the follow-up frag. Good flashbang thrown by Wildcard, but Rush and George are doing such a good job playing off each other that Wildcard can't do a single thing. Grizz does manage to get down into that vent with the bomb, but look who's here. It's Carson. He says, nuh-uh, I don't think so. No bomb plant, no round for you. 11-11 all tied up. We are going the distance, the full 24.
Oh, my lord. You'd have it no other way. You'd have it no other way.
Yep.
2 rounds. 10 kills. 5 minutes determine which one of these two teams goes to ESL Pro League. And even less now that we've gotten underway. Crunch time yet again. But the buy is out in full force for both. Wildcard. Money much more significant than that of Nouns, and if they come walking in, Junior will not be merciful at all. Slight. He's gonna go for this peak!
Oh no!
And are you kidding? Junior expects it, combines with CJ, and they want this trade so damn bad. Sonic was praying a mistake was made by Junior after that flash was thrown, but he stays rigid on top of the box in the open in ramp. That is confidence.
Oh my goodness. Junior at 21. I mean, he's usually quite a good nuke player, and once more, he's having a huge impact at an important time. Rush will go down here. JBA doesn't realize another player's here. George could get a second one as well. The op shot misses. He does get the second, not the third. Finally, Sonic collects, but he's got 10 HP. I mean, 10 HP and op, a prayer here, a couple of pieces of util. Junior's hunting. He's trying to close the space available to Sonic. Sonic might double back to T-spawn. That's the only safe place for him. Is it a save? I guess it has to be. Their money is kind of bad, so he's just going to try and keep the op alive.
I think it should have been. I absolutely think it should have been a save.
I don't know if he actually goes. There's 25 seconds left. Walking at this pace, what are the odds he's able to get anything? I think he's just looking maybe if he can find a frag, and if he can't, he just pulls back. There's just no chance.
Okay, this makes a little more sense. Right, maybe with the fear that you're going to get hunted. I mean, there's a lot of money right now for Nouns, like a ton. So if they really, really wanted to, they could try to clear out some of these more basic save angles, invest a lot in going into ramp, clearing out behind the orange box, going into T-spawn, flashing their way through, and really making sure Sonic didn't save this off. You go to one of these more intricate angles, that wasn't going to get cleared. Even if they went for the hunt, that wasn't going to get checked. They would have run right by you. So, while yes, he saves the op, it's still series point for Nouns. Wildcard had 9 chances tossed aside on Vertigo. Nouns, this time, they've only got the 1, but it matters a hell of a lot more.
Man. Will be a decent buy-up coming through for Wildcard in terms of weaponry anyway, but utility? Not as good. Sonic and Stanislaw will probably have the most available to them unless Grizz opts for something a little less, and he will. It's a Galil. And 2 pieces of util. In fact, 3, but he dropped one for his team. He dropped it for Slate, who tends to set them up the util on the back lines. It's all down to this. Nouns win this round. They're into Pro League. Wildcard get it. We got overtime for a second map in a row. Man, even Nouns on the other side, having those 2 AKs in the defensive end bolsters their defense even more so.
I heard that.
Oh boy. Here they come, charging on forward. Grizz making a ton of noise. Carson lines him up, but can't knock him down. So much damage done to Grizzly. He's down to 2 HP. JBA at 68, and Sonic finds CJ. Wildcard hanging in there. 5v3.
I said, of course, it had to be 11-11. How about this one? Of course, it might have to be overtime. As Wildcard are still indecisive with where they want to take this. So many opportunities. You could go back up secret. You could stick to the advantages you had and gone down to B. You could stick in heaven and make this a really unorthodox A take. The problem right now for Nouns is they've put all their eggs in one basket. They said, you're coming B. But with all of the players still up from Wildcard, they can just send somebody in. Explore A. What's going on there? Is it worth taking this risk? The answer, a defining no.
Ooh. Smoke is thrown onto A. I don't know if they're going to go there. Yeah, they're
No
trying to distract.
way.
George gets one. JBA trades him out. I think they're still, yeah, they're going to rotate back up to the A site. Thought they might go B for a moment. Bomb plant's going to come through. Junior and Rush, nothing to lose. It's the last round of regulation, so they're going to have to try it. It won't be easy. Junior has been very impressive so far in this half, but this might be too tall of an ask for him. Rush going out into Trophy. Junior going to pinch her in from Mini. Slight's waiting with the AWP on the other side. Junior's making some noise. He has to move. He's gone. Overkill from Slight with the big green. And Rush, no time left. This round is over. And then Slight will get the final one anyway. We are headed to overtime again.
No other way. No other way this could have ended. It would not be fair to JBA. A life game. Dude, it's one thing to drop 27 kills in some rinky-dink match in the middle of the ECL season. It's another thing to map 3, qualifying map for EPL, drop these numbers. He's topping the server by a big margin. Against names who've traveled the world to play this game, JBA is the defining guy right now.
Both teams taking a deep breath as they go into overtime. This series, honestly, could not have been closer, could not have been better for such an important match with so much on the line. Junior pushed up aggressively again, gets the opener onto Stanislaw, will fall back immediately. That's exactly what they were hoping for. Smoke pop, and another one! Collecting the bodies is Junior. He pops the smoke again! Oh, he hit Grizzly, and he gets the frag on him in the end as well. Oh, goodness me. What work Nouns have done here, showing why smokes are no safe haven in CS2 at all.
Nouns are abusing it perfectly, man. There's never a dull moment with these guys. Staring at his smoke 1 second, the next, it's Junior with a triple. And Wildcard left beckoning. Slight. He's now left all alone as Sonic is trembling in fear after that kill from Carson. A bomb plant wouldn't really do you much in overtime, but hey, if it's given, they'll take it. Only way you pull off legendary rounds like this is by taking and grabbing what's given to you. Rush, a flashback in, Anti from Slight, spot on the 1. He's getting pushed down, left, right, and center. Who else but Junior to close a star-studded round, and Nouns get a lead.
Oh, man. Junior has come to play. I mean, the last time he was their top frag was on Nuke, in fact, against Elevate. When a 13-11 when he had 21 there with a 96.1 ADR. It's way better than that now. 25, 97 ADR. And he is just rolling along. What a critical time for him to find that. Great coordination with his teammates as well. He popped the smoke, his teammate did. Both opportunities yielded a frag, and then he gets the last one for the quad kill. Incendiary comes out from Carson, a nade as well. Junior, another opener! You've got to be kidding me! He wins the off top duel against Slight. Now a flashbang into Carson, not very effective. He's going to escape, probably? No, he has to fight and he loses it. Okay, that's a 4v4 now, and Wildcard have some space gain, but look who's here. Junior has rotated all the way back towards this B site. Rush trying to come in on a flank that Wildcard are waiting for. How does he hit that shot too? Grizz is gone.
Oh!
Junior's on fire, folks. Another 3K. JBA and Stan are the last two standing.
God knows it's not done there, man. He's hanging around. He swapped to the 8K. And he knows where another is. His next victim may be tallied up.
Oh
So
my
he swings,
God.
but CJ collects 14 now for Nouns.
I mean, Junior has entered a flow state at the perfect possible time. It feels like he won't miss. Look at this. How does he hit that? That's ridiculous. And then the quick scope onto Sonic, who's trying to get through the smoke. Oh my goodness, Nouns. Perhaps they are fated to come through here and get that EPL spot. It's not over. Not over. 14 rounds for Nouns. Wildcard get one here. They'll stay in. If they don't, it's going to be tough to come back from. It'll require 3 in a row as they switch over to their CT side.
You can't.
This is wild.
Give up 3 rounds,
Oh my
man.
God.
You can't do it. And they might. Dude, are you serious? It's still Junior. It's all it is. This feed is Junior this, Junior that. But his kill count right now is far from it. And he continues to put Nouns in these amazing spots, Carson.
Look at this crossfire. Oh my God.
Oh my, this might just win him the round. I mean, they're gonna keep walking into it. You've got JBA low already. Slight is dead. I'm not sure, but everybody's distracted. That's why that crossfire is so strong. Stan. Nate isn't caught, but damn near it. Sonic's got a kill back. Not out of arm's reach just yet, but you're pretty damn close. Pop open these double doors and give CJ a little bit of info and you will be. Or if you let George clean it up there, Stan, you won't come close to a 1-on-3, and they won't come close to a round on the CT side. Flawless in the first.
That is Junior. That's all Junior. 3 opening frags. Every single round of overtime, he had an opening frag. 2 of them, he gets a 3K. And, I mean, each one a highlight reel in its own right. And he helps his team get 3 opportunities at map and series point. They only had 1 in regulation. Now, let's see if they can close it out and send themselves to Pro League. Wow.
All right, well, Wildcard, you fought valiantly. You fought hard to get to this point, to go 3 maps, to almost topple the best there was. And hell, to even force overtime here. And there's so many spots of this series you'll look back on with a sigh of regret. Can you at least keep it going for now? Grizz, he's not ready to give it up. But neither is Carson.
Oh, man.
Everybody contributing here. It only takes overtime and a thriller for everybody to snap back into reality. But a 3-on-4 is by no stretch of the imagination done, nor a 2, but it's very unlikely when it's just Junior, or maybe it's not. 29 kills, he's looked impressive, but here, he'll go out without a whimper.
Oh my goodness. It feels like this one is never gonna end, and I kinda don't want it to. This has been so very thrilling to watch. 15-13 in favor of Nouns. They still got a couple of serious points. Money doesn't matter. We're gonna have full buys regardless coming through. Wildcard very convincing in their first round victory here of this overtime. Defensive ends have been stronger for both teams, right? So it's going to take that 1T round from Nouns to come through for them to find victory. They're trying to work outside again. Here comes that wall of smokes between Mini and Big Garage, so they will have a lot of space to be utilized here. But the smoke pop, it's always a threat. Sonic's going to do it. Doesn't see anything. Nouns are waiting for that to come through. And Grizz blindsides Rush. Nice little push and the follow-up on Junior. Oh my goodness, he is on top of Groot here. Oh, doing so much damage. Crushing its 2 back. Hold on. He's gone. Okay, don't hold on anymore. George, last one standing. 1v3. JBA spotted. George gets 1. Makes it a little bit closer. Tons of time left for him. Ball back, and he won't. Grizz does all the work, a 3K for him. And now we're 1 round away from double overtime.
Man, this curse is just hitting everybody today. It's an infection that's airborne, apparently. Map points slipping through fingertips, series points constantly sucked away. And the souls ripped out of Nouns seems everything up until this point, dude. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. You can't change that. You can only play for it here. Looking like we're back in global offensive with a 15-14 score, but after the timeout subsides, you take your last breath, your last sigh, as we play out their 4th series points and head to what could be the last. I'm sure Wildcard have got more to say.
Flashes thrown outside. Nouns want to try and work lobby. That's a great Molotov thrown towards Slade. He tries to charge him, but Junior delivers. Here we go. Opening frag for the Junior. On Nouns. 15-14. He has been the man for this squad. At least on Nuke. CJ. Just lining some stuff up right now. Waiting for a push to come through. Nouns want to give Wildcard a ton to think about here, Anthran.
You don't want to be overthinking it either. Minute to play with, and nobody budges.
They're coming.
Oh, except Sonic. Vengeance onto Junior. Again, Sonic himself used to be an upper. Time he rolled back the years.
49 seconds left, man. 49 seconds until we have a decision. Is it double overtime? Nouns the winner. Molotov sails through. That's on top of HUD as well. Nouns are going to drop down, making a lot of noise here, and they're going to lead to B 100%.
They go.
They're going. It's open. There's an op here. Sonic, can he connect for another one? Yes, he can. Rush is gone, but Nouns are going to slip through in towards that B site. Grizz will be tested, and he will have an answer at least for one. He's got JBA supporting. Wildcard 1 frag away from double overtime. And Carson, there's just no time. It is going to be double OT, and Sonic in style. No scope to send us there.
We've not seen Sonic this whole map. This whole map. He came into overtime with 7 kills. Like, he was not a factor. And the fact now is, he's turned up. JBA's hot. Stan's quiet still, sure. I mean, well, yeah, he's quiet now. He was very loud at the start. We had Slight's name in our mouths for the past couple of rounds, and then Grizz has opened up almost every one. It's no longer a game of individuals. It's not. It's calls. It's game plans. It's mid-rounds.
Man, and it's CT sides, honestly, because the CT sides have been so good for both teams. Sonic and JBA getting aggressive. I mean, we saw Nouns do this as well in overtime, and, well, it will pay dividends for Sonic once more as he collects an opening frag. The rest of Nouns slowing up a little bit. Man, oh man, the swings that this match has featured, especially in OT, have been insane. Slight, he's collecting another body. Carson gone. Nouns really haven't been able to activate that much so far on their T side. George, okay, that's a headshot, but so much damage taken that it's not really that big of a deal for Wildcard. And Nouns still have no map control.
They just look lost right now. They don't know where to go. I mean, they're scrambling, right? You could tell a lot of these rounds have essentially come down to them waiting for Wildcard pushes. When was the last time we saw Wildcard go in like that? I mean, we saw it from Grizz once on overtime, sure. This isn't we know they're going to push. It more feels like a hope. Desperation attempt. Ooh, that's a bit rough, but as you said earlier, it's just the amount of bodies sheerly on this site that makes it ineffective. Meaningless to only mount the one. Junior, if he wants to pick up a round, he's going to have to find all 3, and Grizz won't let him even get the first. So the lead now regained by Wildcard. And the story changes yet again.
Alrighty then. Both these teams refusing to say a die. And Wildcard, I mean, they've shut Nouns down completely on their T side. There hasn't really been even a threatening round. Nouns, they keep getting stuck in lobby, and like they're just getting picked apart one by one every time. So I would suggest, for their sake, try and work that outside yard a little bit more and get into secret. So that's what they appear to want to do. There's the wall of smokes. Flashbang gonna come out. Molotov for secret. Nouns still stalled out. Eventually going to make a move. Rush is waiting on the back lines to ensure a flank doesn't come through. And actually, they're reversing chorus. Again, they want to go into this lobby fight. They seem just locked into it.
It's so hard to justify, man. These rounds have been so one-sided when they've, like, gone for these A approaches. To be fair, nothing's really gone their way. They tried going down lower, but also technically through Ben, it was weird. It's been weird.
Well, okay. They have readjusted now, and they are going to go to secret. Carson moving in. Carson, the headshot onto Slight. Okay. Nouns, finally a path in here. Incendiary thrown down by JBA. They saw him drop. They had to. George and CJ going to rack up another couple of frags. Stanislaw down to 12 HP. As the bomb gets planted here. Grizz trying to go for it. Junior's watching. In this type of position, he's been lights out, and he continues to be so. Stanislaw, in a 1v5, what can he possibly do?
I don't know. Stat pad? That's about it. Like, there's not exactly a world where you walk in, defuse the bomb, everybody decided to run away. Hell, if they really wanted to, Nouns would just die to the bomb. Like, if I was in overtime, if this is where I was sitting, I'd die to the bomb. I wouldn't even bother leaving. Just impossible. That's crazy. What, dude? 1 HP is nuts. Nice that he saved the off though. They could have afforded it, but you know, it's cool.
Alrighty. That could be the difference maker because both teams have struggled to get any T rounds at all in this overtime. In fact, that is the first T round that we've seen because it was clean sweeps on the CT sides for both of these squads in the first OT on the defensive side. So, will Nouns push it across the finish line? Another one would be fantastic here. And yeah, going down towards that B site ended up being the answer for them.
Grizz, again looking to take first contact for a moment, it seemed. Rush is behind that smoke, but now all of it returns once again to normalcy. They even refreshed the smokes outside. A lot of emphasis put on the outer yard from Nouns. Well warranted. And Wildcard seem to have no gripes with giving it over to them. Not a lot of congestion going on. Rush! Bit of a lacking clear, and it almost costs them big. It might still. As Sonic from the skies looks to pluck a couple out. There were 2 ops in this round, and Sonic is still wielding one of them. Slight, step aside, my friend, because Sonic's got you covered. And distracting from heaven. You might think Slight has a rifle. I couldn't be more wrong. Though CJ's got a perfect read of the current situation. It's all a game of timing, and it seems Slight will win. And Wildcard get a slight edge moving into the second.
Alrighty, Wildcard. As you mentioned, a bit of an edge, but that 1 T round that Nouns found could be the difference maker if they can shut out Wildcard again here on their CT side. 3 in a row required of them in order to secure this map and series. And uh-oh, Carson's disconnected. The round's not live. Yep.
No.
Take a step back, Wildcard. You've got to wait. What a time for that to happen, right?
I was going to say, like, that's the worst, because it's a forceful stoppage of momentum. Now you've got to sit there and wait, sulk, let nature take its course. You can't do anything about it.
All right. We got to wait for a little bit of a match medic to come through here, as the round was not live. We're just going to, I don't think it should be too long of delay, but man, okay, like we have to talk about everything that's happened so far in this map and series, right? Junior, in specifically here on Nuke, ridiculous.
Yep.
Like some of the performances and plays that he's pulled off are absolutely nuts. And George behind him has also been really, really solid, as we are just going to send it to cameras very quick, guys, so you can see our lovely faces, because we got to fix some stuff in the server. But yeah, I mean, look, on the Nouns side, those are the 2-star performers, but on the other end, I mean, Stanislaw had that ridiculous play in regulation, right, where he gets the 3K to keep Wildcard flowing on their CT side, because, I mean, one round here or there the other way could have made a big difference. But, I mean, the story of Wildcard is JBA.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to say that this entire map was Junior, though, for them. It feels like it wasn't. It feels like it was primarily overtime. That's where he really started hitting his new groove. Toward the very end of regulation, maybe, the very, very, very tail of it. But when we stepped into overtime, he stepped up into play. And he's honestly the reason that we've gone this far, to some extent, in that regard. Maybe you would have liked to see more from him from the T-sided perspective, but again, like, it's the life of an opper. You're not going to have that much impact on the offense. Don't quote Zywoo. He's the exception, not the rule. But you were right about JBA. Like, he's just been killing it. However, I want to mention that he's been nowhere in overtime. He's not really been here. He's not been a factor. We've been looking at Sonic, at some of the other players on the squad, at Grizz, at Slight, and it's not to discredit what he did in regulation, but that's no longer the case. What he did in regulation, great, amazing, awesome, but you need him now too. Like, you can't just drop off the map and then say, all right, guys, now you do the winning. He's still got to be involved. The job is not done.
Yeah, no, I mean, to an extent, I think JBA still has given them the ability to even fight forward here, though, so we can't forget that contribution. It's good to see Sonic in particular kind of wake up here in overtime, because he was so very quiet in regulation, and JBA was just carrying the team on his shoulders, allowing his teammates to really spread their wings in overtime. Grizz in particular, as it looks like, Carson's internet has cut out, guys, so I think we might send it to a quick break here in order to see how quickly things are going to get resolved. So, quick break. When we're back, the continuation of double overtime. All right, after a brief technical issue, some internet went out on the Nouns side. We're back to it. Double overtime, 17-16 for Wildcard, and Nouns are back on the CT side where they have been so very good. Flawless in the first OT for them. George throwing the smoke on forward. No shots fired just yet. Wildcard taking it slow.
I'm just happy that things went fine on their internet restart for Nouns. I was so worried when I saw Carson and Co. having those issues. I don't know if it was actually said, but it was both Carson and Junior who had to go on and fix their internet issues. So it was alarming, but thankfully, it's not how we go out. We still go out in style, in flair. Maybe not with speed, or maybe we do. Junior again getting involved. The flash is going to blind up the player in ramp. Carson might not be long for this world. Couple of times now he's been hunted down, but Wildcard don't actually opt to do that. They split the bill, turn back around, set Grizzly all the way up in hell. And you know what? They might have to come back in here to clear it. That's the idea here. Maybe the Heaven player comes down just to check, just to be sure.
No. There's the molly for George. He has to move out, and he gets opt by Slight. Rush, hoping to find a trade quickly. He moves off the angle, but manages to flick around, and right after that, or before it, I should say, CJ gets Grizz. JBA manages to respond with one. They're still in the round, trying to stick the bomb down to dirt, and will be afforded that opportunity. Nade comes in, does a little bit of damage. The round is on. Slight is watching towards Heaven. Molotov burning right at CJ's feet. JBA and Slight trying to hang on for an 18th. Slight misses the shot. That's a huge miss, but JBA swings around and makes up for it and more. CJ and Carson are gone. He's up to 35 now. The quad kill for JBA. He's got his backpack on, and all four of his teammates are riding along in it. 18-16, map and series point for Wildcard.
As soon as I mentioned it, I said JBA was quiet in overtime. I said he hasn't been here. Guess what? Time to turn back up, boys. We've seen a lot this game. Ups, downs, competition, blowouts, and roller coaster amounts of momentum. But what we haven't seen is Wildcard on map point, series point, EPL point, and 2 chances to guarantee themselves that spot.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Could it get any more exciting? I don't think so. CJ spamming through the smoke. Wildcard of a player on top of Mini. That's JBA, who just rung Nouns' bell for 4 frags. Sonic waiting in lobby. Wildcard biding their time. They've got Nouns on the ropes. Their first map points of this map. Of course, series points as well.
Yeah, that'd apply.
Man, oh man. They just want to wait. They don't want to.
You don't want to make the first mistake, right?
Exactly.
Like, I don't think we've ever seen. Well, I mean, obviously we haven't. They've been a split of 1 round every step of the way, but when the games get closed, it's never with like 2 or 3 round streak, but it might be. Stan hits that shot, and in they go. It's all crumbling, it's all collapsing, and 2 kills separate them. A retake effort. Carson, Junior, and minus Junior. It's just Carson. Bottom of the board, but there's his 1. We've been missing him from Nuke too, but Wildcard haven't. I'm sure they'd like to say goodbye though. Miss him or not, Nate goes into the single door, posts it up in Slight, and your final qualificant for EPL from North America, it's Wildcard moving on.
Wow, what a damn series coming through. Wildcard twice, needing double overtime to take it, but they do it. Impressive stuff, well deserved. And well, I mean, look, what can we say? JBA, absolutely unbelievable.